I love Insomnia.
Well, I'm sorry if you love Insomnia, but that's what you get when we do this quite late tonight. Henry, what's the time?
Some time.
We have a special unenthusiastic guest.
Oh, hell
Yes.
yeah. It's
You-
like
you
half
might-
past. It's half past.
It's 2012.
No, it's half past, isn't it? It's half
23, 21. Half 11.
At night.
half 11.
Which isn't that late for me or Jude, but it's for Henry, our guest, who you may recall from the Papers, Please video.
Yeah.
I think that ended with us getting arrested for failing the Arstotzkan government.
Well, I'm sorry, but they're a bit demanding.
Well, what do you expect? They're an Eastern European Soviet
And I
satellite
determine
state.
people's gender, which
Oh,
you
yeah.
get wrong on multiple occasions.
They don't give you much pay.
Oh, we're not talking about Papers, Please. We are talking about The Last Jedi. And just before we start, I am going to say, I think we're going to go spoilers from the start here, because we've got a lot to talk about. So if you have not watched the movie, stop here. I mean, keep watching if you want, but if you don't want it spoiled, stop now.
Here's
Okay?
what.
Wait, no.
I'll turn the radios off, but because the windows.
please.
Oh, yeah.
But we need to go through every Star Wars film beforehand. To give context,
Why?
Because why not?
Oh,
No, and I think all we need to
You're
really
gonna
talk about
die.
is... We don't really... We just need to talk about Force
quick,
Awakens.
second thought.
Okay, quick thought. Okay, right.
You go first.
This is the spoiler break-off point, so I'll give you a few seconds to leave the video.
Luke Skywalker dies. There we go.
I swear to God.
Well, like, give it a few seconds.
Well, he doesn't die as such as becomes one with the Force, which is
He
slightly
dies.
different.
He dies.
He dies.
Yeah, I suppose.
He dies.
I suppose.
I thought he was going to pull when Kylo Ren attempted to slice him in half. I thought he was going to pull an Episode 4 Obi-Wan Kenobi. And it was just going to like the cloak would fall to the ground.
Oh, kind of did.
Anyway, so yeah, context from previous movies. However, let's go quick fire. Episode 1.
Terrible.
You.
Worst Star Wars film.
Oh, terrible.
Pretty shit. But if you look at it and sound the concept of the others, it's kind of all right. Episode 2.
Better
Worse.
than Phantom Menace, but
No, it's not.
still terrible.
I think it's worse than the Phantom Menace.
Does some stuff well. Good battle at the end. Awful romance sections, and also Django Fett memes.
CGI pair.
Probably.
What about the CGI pair?
Yeah. If you may like episode 2 if you go on r/prequel memes a lot. Right, 3.
Better than the other two because, like, Ewan McGregor's and what's his name? You'll know who I mean.
Sidious or...
Ian McDermott.
Oh yeah, Ian McDermott.
They're
brilliant,
both
I think.
great, mainly due to memes,
Yeah.
but because it's the most
My
memed
turn.
Star Wars film.
Keep
Let's
But it's better than the rest, but not by much.
This is. I don't really like it because of Obi-Wan liner and
Obi-Wan.
yeah.
Oh, he does have great one-liners though. Ewan McGregor's brilliant. I love him.
And hello there and
Hello there.
yeah, it's just not that good.
It's better than the other two. Still not brilliant. Did some interesting stuff. Obi-Wan liners. Also, you get to see the Wookiee homeworld, which was kind of a big thing at the time. I.e. Kashyyyk. And
It has 3 Ys in it. What kind of word has 3 Ys? All next to
Welsh
each
words.
Kashyyyk doesn't have 3
It
Ys.
does.
It's 2.
other. No, I promise you, it's 3 Ys.
It's not. Anyway, that's
Every
besides the
Welsh
point.
word has 3 Ys.
Yeah, all Welsh words are pronounced like this.
Oh,
No offense to any Welsh viewers.
It's just the Welsh
No,
language
Tony does a lot of
begins with
stuff.
Y.
Is slightly better than the others, but mainly because Ewan McGregor is awesome and Ian McDermott shoots scenery like you wouldn't believe, and he's
3
brilliant.
Ys. Kashyyyk.
Oh yeah, Kashyyyk, 3 Ys. I'm sick. Right, episode 4.
It's alright. I'll say that and get killed, but it's alright.
Henry.
Yes, this is quite good. It has stuff in it.
Cinema classic. Basically brought the genre of
I
space
will
opera to
say
the big
it is one of the
screen.
most important films ever made.
Yeah.
But I think-
Regardless of its individual quality, the effect it's had it cannot be overstated. But that's what. Okay, so 5.
it's the best Star Wars film. It's just all around great.
Pew pew pew, zap, ouch.
What?
That's what happens in it a lot.
Yeah, that's
What
what
happens in
happens
all of them?
Yeah, but it happens in
Well-
most people get killed in Star Wars episode 5.
Who gets killed off in 5?
Like all the rebels.
Yeah, but not. What about major named characters? I mean, actually, I think in terms of named major characters, 8 must have a pretty high kill count. We're in spoiler territory now, so we can't say. Well, we can say goodbye to Akbar and Admiral Holdo. Why do you keep going?
This is why we don't have people on the show.
Yeah.
Show, I guess.
Is it a show or is it a... This is more of a show. This isn't like the podcast
We're
format.
still doing the other films though.
Yeah, I already gave the spoiler warning, which then you broke after a few seconds.
I dropped a bombshell.
Yeah. So as we were saying, we were talking about 5. You were talking about 5. Greatly benefited from a change of director. Irvin Kershner's great, and It's got a great name, and it's just a really good film. Had possibly an even greater influence on cinema than A New Hope. Stuff like I'm Your Father and the Battle of Hoth and the wonderfully sexy Billy D. Williams. Seriously, why wasn't he in 8? They had a planet full of high stakes gambling planet.
At least have like a cameo.
Yeah, like why?
How do you know there wasn't a cameo you're looking for? Like, could have been in the background.
Possibly, but
it would have been.
We would have
obvious.
known, I think, because people would have been like, "Hey, we saw Billy D. Williams on set," you know. And he's getting pretty old now, so I really hope they have him in 9. If they killed off Lando before the new trilogy, I'm going to be very annoyed.
In the corner in the background.
Yeah, they'd be a little more
prominent.
A little more prominent with
like
it.
When the things are bursting through the walls, you would have had like a shot of him for a couple of seconds.
Yeah, or like C-3PO and R2-D2 in Rogue One. But okay, and episode 6.
If David Lynch should have directed it, it would have been like a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, that would have been.
But it's still good though.
Right.
Oh, me. Well, it's all...
Third best Star Wars film.
I think it's my favourite. I'm sorry.
Fair enough. I think it's a great conclusion to a trilogy. Has Ian McDiarmid, and you know he's great. Got a nice aesthetic.
What's my favourite at one point, actually?
Yeah, I think it was mine. But it's a very enjoyable film, and yeah, it's pretty good. Good space battle. Kind of. I know that we use the super weapon plot, but it doesn't annoy me. Ewoks are fine, and also we get Jabba the Hutt. You know, so toya solo. Okay. So right now, shall we?
Episode 7.
Yeah, 7.
It's like, it's actually good. It's like perfect 7 out of 10, really.
That makes no sense.
How appropriate.
It's like perfect, exact definition, really.
I can't really remember that much of it.
I've seen it like 3 times now.
I've seen it twice. Once when it came out, and also once later, early this year.
They kill some people and zap.
Han Solo.
Oh yeah.
They kill Han Solo.
I remember days after the film came out, because I saw the midnight showing.
Of course.
And, I was amazed I managed to hide from the Han Solo dies twist.
It's like 2 days after, there were people, the accounts all over the internet spamming with the names Han Solo dies.
To be fair though, I wasn't hugely surprised, because like, yeah, this probably makes sense. It's why they got Harrison Ford on, saying like, nah, it's fine, we'll kill Han. You won't have to do any movies ever again.
The midnight screening though, that was a fun thing, because
everyone was genuinely surprised.
I had the power. I had the power because I was the only one in school who'd seen it.
That was the same with that's what David was saying with having watched The Last Jedi, because I think him and Devin and only a couple others were the only ones who'd seen it. They were just like, I have the potential to spoil this to anyone who feels.
I could have. I didn't.
He didn't for me either.
I didn't.
No, he gave me fake spoilers because he told me Finn died. I was like, what?
He always did, which I kind of would have liked.
I like diversion spoilers, because you're expecting it to happen, then when it doesn't, it's more of a surprise. But yeah, what did you think of 7? Oh, we already asked. I thought rehashed plot was not brilliant, and Starkiller Base got destroyed. But you also note I don't think there's any references to Starkiller Base in 7, like aside from 8 rather. Aside from a couple, I think Phasma name drops it, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Clearly, Rian Johnson didn't approve of the rehashed super weapon plot. I wonder why that was. Oh yeah. But otherwise, it's a fun film. The actors are pretty good. Right. Should we talk about Rogue One or?
Yeah, go on.
Sure.
I don't know. People were saying it's amazing. Still do. There wasn't actually that backlash that Force Awakens had, but
I think All Last Jedi is
that's what
getting from
happens
some
when
quarters.
Force Awakens. Probably, I'm gonna say it's probably the most hyped film ever, because it was like
Star Wars returns to the big
Phantom
screen.
Menace, because like the internet age, it's more apparent at least.
Yeah, Star Wars was returning to the big screen, and everyone knows about it.
I'm gonna say it is probably, because nowadays it's like things get hyped even more because everybody knows about everything.
Choo
now.
all aboard the hype train, as they say.
Everyone has access to everything.
But what about Rogue One though?
it's fine. I don't know. It's just something about it's like the story. It's fine. The characters aren't really that well developed. I think it's because they don't have enough time to develop.
Yeah,
they're very It's a very in and out film. You can't really. It's only just like 2 hours 10.
It's 2:20, I think.
2:20. I didn't feel it, which is
no, it doesn't feel too long.
But I mean, with Last Jedi, I didn't feel it at all. It's the longest Star Wars film.
Yeah, 2.5 hours.
But
there are a couple of moments where I was sort of thinking, how much is left? I wonder, but it was more of an absent-minded.
I mean, I always do that, but that's not as a case I want to get this over with. I just always think that.
Yeah,
I'm quite good at guessing times as well.
I can't do it. You've got an instinct. What do you think of Rogue One, Henry?
I had a thought. Oh yeah.
You haven't seen it, have you?
Yes, I have.
Have you? Oh.
Yes.
Didn't know you'd seen it.
I saw it in the cinema with some people.
Oh, some people. Probably a cat.
Yeah.
No name dropping, obviously.
What was I going to say? Oh yeah, the comedy relief robot is annoying.
K2SO. He's most people's favourite character.
He's annoying.
Wait, I just realised.
Yeah.
Does anyone say I have a bad feeling about this?
I don't think so.
No. Oh no.
Ryan Johnson, what have you done? I'm pretty sure they don't.
I don't think.
I don't remember that line.
I would have remembered that.
Yeah, because you remember. It's in all the films. It's a thing you remember. They even make a meta joke about it in Rogue One because it gets cut off when he tries to say it.
You know, I didn't think about it going in, but if they had said it in the film, I would have remembered.
Yeah. To be fair, though, there are only 2 memes that have come out of this: Swole Kylo Ren and it's salt. I'm a subject. Right, so
you need to say what you think.
Rogue One, I enjoyed immensely. In retrospect, I see its flaws. I love Ben Mendelsohn.
Oh yeah.
Most of the characters are relatively memorable. Director Krennic.
Okay.
You just have to whisper.
He was asking Jude, "Who's that?"
Well, I was trying to make myself not seem stupid.
Well, it's fine. I don't remember his name.
I'm the appointed Star Wars nerd here, so I know all the main characters.
Well, I know
anyway.
who Salacious Crumb was today.
Though, to be fair, in the main cast, you don't really get to know him that well. Certainly with Galen Erso, you do have to read the sort of prequel novel, and that shouldn't. Oof. That you really. Accidentally crap on balls. It shouldn't be a It shouldn't be a prerequisite for.
Your nerd rage is expelling.
I don't think it should be a prerequisite to watching a film to read a novel before that.
It's like the DC. It's like the DC fans where they say,
yeah.
"Oh, there are problems, but it'll be fixed in the director's cut," which may not happen. I saw that a lot with Justice League.
It's at the end of the day, though, seeing the Empire in full modern day glory with updated designs and extra and stuff was really great. Plus, Scarif looks beautiful. Be a great holiday destination if it weren't for the Imperial Weapons Research Facility and the fact it's now been reduced to a crater.
Why would they build a base there? Like, that looked really nice.
Scarif's a very obscure out of the way planet somewhere on the edge of the mid-rim. It's quite small, quite unnotable, no native sentient wild, very little native wildlife. Basically, it's an out of the way location.
It feels like
that could have been an amazing holiday planet or something.
I feel like that would have been like a planet where not many people know about it, but it's kind of like this really nice holiday resort.
Yeah, it's kind of. If I recall,
it's just really natural.
If I recall, the Citadel facility was kind of like a American location, an Imperial equivalent of something like Groom Lake Air Force Base, i.e. a top secret weapons research and development facility. Like, it's a black site basically, and obviously they want to keep that. Because some of the military projects are undertaken there probably wouldn't get the approval of the Imperial Senate, so it's somewhere they'd keep it somewhere out of the way, basically.
I am the
It has.
Should we start actually talking about the actual film?
We'll get on to the film.
Actually talking about the actual film.
No, it was in the Outer Rim territories. Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a small, idyllic, and relatively obscure. Though they did work. I don't think the Death Star was actually constructed around Scarif. But anyway, Rogue One's pretty good. Okay, so
one thing I didn't like about it is that how people say, "Oh, they fixed the porthole plot."
It does explain it pretty well.
I mean, what I hate about stuff is when things retroactively fix stuff.
What was it?
Without
the thing that why the Empire would have an unprotected exhaust port that could lead straight to the main reactor.
I mean, Realistically, but it just feels.
It's
really
always
out of
been.
nowhere.
I read the
long-
expanded universe thing that said it was like they'd planned to fix it, but then like the designer had been ill or something.
No,
so the replacement designer had added it anyway because it was in the plans.
If I recall, there'd been a thing of in canon. There'd been the theory that it was Imperial scientists trying to deliberately sabotage it. It's been around for a long time. This just codifies it. In the old Legends continuity, I believe the explanation was actually essentially that the contractors were too lazy. The contractors that were working on it, when the grill didn't show up, they were too lazy to order another one. So just like, we'll leave it open, it'll be fine. Obviously, it was not fine. But anyway,
I kind of hate how they kind of retroactively did it.
You see, I don't mind that.
I don't mind that they did it, but
they're providing explanation and context.
I guess, but it's the thing that annoys me where people try and retroactively fix stuff that they didn't plan.
Yeah.
Which always annoys me, and people say, "Oh, it fixes stuff from the previous one," but the problem's still there.
As
it's still originally there.
I liked the whole guy holding the desktop on some like a massive memory chip. It's like,
oh yeah, Star Wars hardware.
This is.
They've got 70s hardware.
It's like, why do they have fuel?
Like that's wouldn't the Death Star plans gotta be separated, like in kind of little. That would be a smart move.
Yeah,
well, yeah. You got to remember the Imperial archival facility, the sort of structural engineering database, is like heavily guarded and right at the centre of the Citadel, which is in itself a hugely heavily guarded military installation.
Yeah, fair enough.
They only got to it through infiltration and a very clever distraction, which led to the famous line, "Are we blind? Deploy the garrison!" There's also, "Are we garrison? Deploy the blind?" And all the stormtroopers look like Donnie Yen's character.
Should we talk about the actual film with the...
Let's get on to The Last Jedi, though. Okay, what should we address first?
Shall we make a big, bold statement and try and justify it for like another hour?
If you want to open with that, okay.
Okay, because I like making these big, bold statements of people hating me and then clicking off the video and then just never coming back.
You hate views, money, and popularity.
I still get the view because people have heard.
Yeah,
but you
the
don't get the watch
spent,
time. You don't get the watch time.
The watch time is what really affects I'm trying to think. That is hence why it would be great if you watch this whole thing through viewer. Yes, thank you very much.
Well, you could make a 1 second long video and then you've got like 100% watch time for everyone.
Yeah, but it's more in actual length of it. I don't know. The point is, yes, well, we've been making these single bold statements about the other films, so let's say what we think about Last Jedi.
Last Jedi. All the weird controversy around it, which we'll get to.
Oh yeah, a lot of people don't like it for some reason. Don't know why. I loved it.
I think The Last Jedi is the second best Star Wars film. Now, people hate me for that, honestly. I think...
Really? Because a lot of people I've talked to loved it. Or certainly on Reddit, like the Star Wars subreddit,
well,
they're
saying it's
fans.
the second best Star Wars film. I mean, people will probably say, "Oh, it's in the top half." But I'd say it's like second best apart from Empire.
It's an Empire thing.
Let's be fair. I need to give Empire a rewatch.
I want to rewatch Empire now because honestly, those two are kind of vying for my top spot.
I feel like we should watch that after this.
Oh, it's too late now.
No.
Okay, maybe. Empire is a great film.
Yeah.
But and also I do love the way they very heavily subverted the whole, it's going to be Empire Strikes Back all over again thing. Like, even with the fact that they were deliberately showing stuff from, like, the Battle of Crate with, like, the walkers and the salt flats.
It's like Ring Theory.
Incidentally, can we just talk about how fucking beautiful it looks?
This is a Christian Minecraft server.
Sorry, this is a Christian Minecraft server, please no swearing. No, but, I mean, obviously using such indecent words is beautiful. But no, like, seriously, the visual design, I always look for visual design and set design and prop design in a film, and in this case, it looked brilliant. My personal favourite is Snoke's throne room, because the combination, the combination of throne, that sort of strong but flat red backing, and the red, which goes really well with the red armour of the Praetorian Guard, just looks, and this sort of shining, reflective black
kind of this, like, black and red colours.
Yeah, they had the black and red going on.
He's
drawn some awful pencil thing on his phone.
He's drawing it like
it's Snoke.
No, it's not.
It is.
He doesn't have hair or eyebrows. He looks like, remember what Gollum looked
he
like
has the
after
bean-shaped face.
It looks like Gollum after a ton of meth.
Yeah, Gollum. No, the Snoke's throne is amazing, and the red motif appears a lot throughout the film in both the logo and also the salt flats. And seriously, the shots are these sort of wide shots of the ski speeders flying along these sort of crate salt flats as they're kicking up those.
That's the salt of 1,000 fan theorists.
Yeah, and they're kicking up those huge red dust clouds behind them.
Oh, can we talk about Rey's parents?
Beautiful. Oh, well, I just want to talk about visual design stuff. Okay. The Supremacy looks great. I like the Mandator for Dreadnought design far more when actually seeing it in the film.
I like the shots at the end with Luke Skywalker just sitting there, and
yeah, those are really well done shots, and also the callback to Binary Sunset from Episode 4.
Oh yeah,
because like when you see the two sons of Acto, you actually hear that music again, and then he goes pulls a Yoda / an Obi-Wan and becomes one with the Force. I don't know how you're so tired at this time.
I get tired very quickly.
The way he pulls an Obi-Wan. It's a very great seeing that. And let's be honest, the whole confrontation him and Kylo Ren is, yeah,
it's just
great.
It's not actual a physical struggle. It's like
more of an emotional, mental one. There's something funny about that.
No,
you've got to that stage of the night where you're too
Everything
tired
is funny
to understand what's going on.
I know. We're like 20 minutes in now. We've only talked for about 5 of those minutes. Now, the confrontation is great. The general visual design, particularly with the crate, the ski speeders, they say there's just these old ski speeders that have been stripped down for parts, and they're being quite literal because they are literally buckets, like a literal rust bucket that's falling apart. Yeah, he actually puts his foot through the hole. And that really tells you something about the quality of those things.
Why is the salt white on the top and red on the... is that a thing that happens?
Yeah, essentially, the actual rock of the planet is quite a strong red, but it's the mineral richness and also the fact that the salt has settled on the surface over time. Oh. Obviously later being disturbed by the fight going on along there.
Yeah.
And it just
particularly love that when you see that huge wide shot of the door that's been blasted open as Luke steps out, you see a big scorch mark of red across the salt flat.
Oh yeah.
Crate's a beautiful planet in general, particularly with the shots through the crystal caverns with the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, what I liked about just like the rebels with the broken ships that were already inside there. What I really like about that is just the fact that's how I always imagine the rebels, not having these like big all these X-wing fighters, these ships which are dwarfed by the Empires, but these still really
still impressive in their
functional,
own right.
clean ships. I kind of imagine them as just like a group of people who don't like the Empire, know they're doing wrong, and get these really
fight back with whatever they can.
Yeah, just these terrible ships.
I mean,
and then just try and stop them.
Yeah, that's the thing. Obviously, I assume that after the original rebellion,
there's only say 30 people left now.
Not even 30. 2 dozen at the most.
Oh yeah.
Most of the GR-95 transports are destroyed on the way down.
How do you know that?
Because I'm a Star Wars nerd, Henry. I read about this stuff. Then they lost the GR-95s. Then they also lost the pilots
Henry,
during
it's called having no sex life.
I'm doing my creepy pedo smile.
Jude, you know we're 14.
I'm sure you know much about lacking a sex life, Jude.
Well, we are.
Oh!
We are 14.
I know.
Actually, I'm 15.
Well,
today.
Well, actually, what time were you born, Michael?
6 o'clock, bitch.
I was born at midnight. 4 minutes past midnight. I was 4 minutes late.
I think I was born 9 or 7.
I believe actually the time you were born is supposed to affect your biological clock, but that's besides the point. We were saying, the resistance.
Is that why I wake up really early all the time?
Possibly, yes. The resistance were clearly sort of. I mean, they say the resistance at the start of the film have 2 full squadrons of X-wings and A-wings and a
fleet of bombers.
Yeah, a fleet of I think what model are they? Pretty sure they're fortress bombers. They incidentally, I will get
like bombers.
Can I just?
They have things.
They are bombers, yeah. I will describe how I love those in a minute. But they've also, and then by the end they're reduced to 2 dozen people on the Millennium Falcon. That's it. They lose all their support ships. They lose their flagship, the Raddus, named after Admiral Raddus from Rogue One, and they genuinely feel like. And that, what with the First Order having initiated it, or with the New Republic out of the playing field, the First Order having initiated a hostile military takeover they really are reduced to nothing at this point.
How do the bombers work? Shouldn't the bombs just stay in their places because there's no gravity?
No.
They don't look propelled in any way. Hello, cat.
Actually,
I saw the cat.
Oh, the cat's just going through
I
the
hope
window.
the cat doesn't get out of the window.
Not a stray cat.
It came into the window.
Oh, did it?
No, Henry, it was just sitting behind us the whole time. We never fucking
I don't
saw
know. It
it.
might have gone around there.
Do you want to stay in here? Yes, you do.
Yeah, the one thing that didn't annoy me with the resistance bomber things is that one, how exactly do the bombs? You could discount some of that for the ship having a generating a gravitational field from its
Not
mass.
from that far.
It was, yeah, and also the thing that how was she able to breathe in the bombing bay with the doors open?
Exactly. Well, you could say that for the Millennium Falcon's gun thingies, because that.
They're glass.
I assume that.
No, not where the gun is. The gun goes through an empty space and goes to the outside.
No, I assume it would be open. I assume it would have some sort of like an airfield.
I assumed it was
open.
a sort of containment energy field at the bottom.
They'd have to open it while they're down there.
Yeah, like because the bombardiers up there do actually have to have direct access to the base. So, and though they're wearing oxygen masks, it would have to be pressurized. So, let me look up what model they are. But yeah, I love the resistance bombers because they're basically a Lancaster from World War II, but it's in space. Like they've got like
space.
Yeah, pretty much.
The MG100 Star Fortress SF-17. 29. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah, they've got a.
See, people say.
Jesus fuck. Okay, no. Listen to this.
People say I'm weird for knowing the Enterprise's registration thingy.
It's
NCC 1701.
Yeah, I know that. I know what. I also know the name of the ship in Alien is the USCSS Nostromo. It doesn't actually make you a nerd. I'm gonna get a T-shirt with that on actually. Okay, so now get this right. It's got an armament of 3 laser cannon turrets, which are like the bubble turrets, 6 medium laser cannons, and 1,048 proton bombs.
There weren't that many on that thing.
No, but we can assume that they probably weren't.
Refilled.
Yeah, I think we can assume that due to the limited supplies, they probably weren't running with a full loading bay. And even then, there were literal hundreds of bombs in that bay. Yeah, it's got a bombardier, pilot, flight engineers, gunners. So yeah, it's basically Lancaster in space. But by the end, yeah, it's that sort of reduction. Even though the First Order have taken a beating in themselves, they lose a Mandate of 4 Dreadnought, which is
spread out some lovely
random DVDs for some
Star
reason.
Trek. God!
I'm putting
Yeah, he's got Star Trek 2, but it's reboot this time.
I would like to get Star Trek 3.
The original Star Trek. Well, that's nice if unrelated. We're talking about the Star Wars.
No, that's the joke.
God!
I mean, like the First Order.
I have like the first 7 Star Wars films.
The First Order does take a pretty serious beating.
Have you got Star Trek 3?
No, I haven't got Star Trek 3.
Why do you want to watch Star
Which
Trek?
one was Star Trek 3?
Search for Spock.
Oh, that was alright.
But no, we're not talking about Star Trek. Like, think about it. I mean, obviously the Resistance really get their shit kicked in. Like, but the First Order do take a pretty serious beating. They lose like 2 major ships.
They lose those thingies that go beer. I can't remember what they.
Do you have the mental capacity of a 5-year-old?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. No, they lose a. I mean, you could sure at least identify it as a dreadnought, which it is.
Those things.
Yes, Mandate of 4 specifically, which are I think that
lose
dreadnought
4?
is like what?
Did they lose 4 of them?
No, the model is a Mandate of 4 class dreadnought. There was the Mandate of 1 and 2 were from the Clone Wars, and Mandate of 3 was Imperial. They look kind of different. Yeah, the Mandate of 4 class dreadnought, which is 7,000 meters long, incidentally. And as if you couldn't
14 inches.
No, and if you couldn't tell from the enormous cannons on its underside, specifically designed for orbital
bombardment.
Yeah, orbital bombardments, which I was really glad to see because previous that was the whole thing, and the whole reason they launched a ground assault on Hoth was because they couldn't just bombard from orbit. So in this case, seeing it actually happen is very satisfying. Plus, the resistance base gets fucked. Like literally right in the first 10 minutes, it's gone. And obviously they lose a Mandate of 4 Dreadnought, which, as is clear, is a serious loss to them. And also the flagship of the First Order gets about a third of it sliced off. Incidentally, though,
I'm gonna read the Star Trek book.
wait, stop putting Star Trek things up there.
I'm meant to be
No.
ironic.
Oh, my Mr.
We're not reading the Star Trek book. We are talking about Star Wars. I mean, particularly the Dude is pretty interesting though. The fact that the Supremacy, the 60-kilometer wide flagship, is still able to function despite having like a third of itself sliced off.
This one's gonna be a really long one. He's in his forte right now.
Well, I seem to be the only one who actually thinks about it. Henry's sitting on his phone / looking at Star Trek stuff, and you just, I don't know what you're doing.
Like, I'm waiting until it's midnight. It's nearly midnight.
Why does it matter that it's midnight?
I don't know.
Henry never stays up this late, you see. He's one of those early to bed people. But, I mean, that's a pretty impressive structural engineering. If your ship can, like, continue after a huge chunk of it just got sliced off.
Well, I don't think it's exactly moving. I think it's just sort of...
No, but it's still functional, which is very impressive.
Well, it's on fire. There's a lot of it on fire.
Yeah.
It's pretty much destroyed, but it still barely functions.
Well, there's no... They don't abandon the ship, so it can clearly still function properly. Obviously, it would need extensive repairs. I think the Supremacy does seem to act as sort of part battleship, but also sort of part garrison and part mobile shipyard. Because that it's essentially more of a mobile headquarters than it is, more of a mobile fortress than it is a ship.
Well, that general guy's a bit
General
stupid.
Hux.
Yeah, General Hux.
He's dogmatically loyal though.
Gleeson.
Donald Gleeson with this surprisingly Irish accent. You watch him interviews.
You see those eyebrows?
Oh yeah, he's got great eyebrows. But his sideburns kind of entertain me too.
He's surprised.
He's got a really Donald Gleeson has a really expressive face, and
I'm confused how that guy became a general.
Essentially because
was he related to Supreme Leader Snoke or something?
No, he was Hux was one of the founding members of the First Order.
Oh.
Quick bit of context. In the Aftermath trilogy books, at the end of that, the founding members of the First Order, led by Ray Sloane and Hux's father, Brendel Hux.
Why'd you hand down your pants, Michael?
Because I'm adjusting myself. Basically, Ray Sloane and Brendel Hux, who was Hux's father, led a bunch of child soldiers, including Hux himself, to rendezvous with the Emperor's Star Destroyer, the Eclipse, which was waiting in the unknown regions along with a quarter of the Imperial fleet, to then start the First Order. So essentially, Hux, not only was Hux's father one of the key figures, he was also one of the founding members. I think he's dogmatically loyal, though mildly incompetent, and seems to have a bit of an inferiority complex about Kylo Ren.
I noticed.
And the thing with him repeating the orders, and he just goes out sort of, the fuck, look.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and I love the Supreme Leader is dead. Long live the Supreme Leader bit. I don't need. Why are you showing me photos?
It's a wombat.
I don't care. We're talking about the Last Jedi.
Looking at a wombat.
I mean, a wombat's pretty funny, but
the combat wombat.
the combat wombat.
Future of Australian military.
You should make some more science facts.
I can't be bothered. I've lost my train of thought now.
One thing.
Find it on the tracks.
One thing I want to talk about though is that shot. What just like the 30-second bit after the Resistance main ship just slices through.
That's brilliantly done. Because obviously, it's always been stated again and again in canon that if you hit something while in hyperspace, it's not going to go well for you. But they never actually see it on screen. And the way because it's like it cuts through and you just see this beam of light and a few seconds of silence.
And then it goes boom.
Before, and it's sort of huge shockwave.
I was kind of scared if I'd gone deaf or something.
Nah, it's masterfully well done. I noticed he uses that a couple of times as sort of heavy use of sort of silence to.
Well, I assume because it's at light speed, so.
No, but it does that
the
also when
the catch up.
If I think I've gone deaf, I just chat my teeth.
Yeah. When the Dreadnought gets destroyed as well, they do that because everything's in silence apart from the near dead bombardier, who's also Rose's sister, I believe.
Oh,
so that's again very well done.
Oh yeah, that's why she was holding the thingy.
Yeah. Did you only just realise?
Maybe.
Like, they were very... They didn't actually explicitly say it, but they made it very clear that the two of them were related by the...
They did say sister.
Yeah, she says, like, my sister just died in that battle. She doesn't say specifically her, though the relation's clear from the necklace and the similar appearance. Also, Benicio del Toro's character is a sleazy scumbag.
They announced that, like, that was in it, like, years ago.
It was...
Like, a year ago.
The hacker who betrays him.
Oh.
DJ, I think his name is.
You don't see him again after.
No, he...
What's with his stutter?
he's sort of he seems like he's on something. I think, which is what considering that he's coming from the sleazy, mega rich casino world, it wouldn't surprise me if he was. I
wonder if he got away. I kind of hope they call.
I like to think I'm kind of hoping that he got away, like he got off the supremacy and shows back up in episode 9.
I think they would have. I'm surprised that there wasn't like a sort of like, you betrayed your friends, now bye, boom, we've got the information we need.
No, the First Order. I think it seems like when the First Order make a deal, they do stick to it.
Yeah, but it's just...
Executing someone you've just made a deal with is more of a sort of Grand Moff Tarkin kind of thing to do. First Order are pretty pragmatic. Plus, they know that if they pay him and he goes off, then there are other sort of freelance criminals and stuff are going to know that you can rely on them to pay well for when you work for them. After all, the First Order is funded by various sort of New Republic senators.
Right. One thing I want to talk about, just offhand for a second, is how Star Trek. Star Wars has a habit of having these like one-off, very minor villains who are made out to be these really big villains of Star Wars, like
Boba Fett.
Grand Moff Tarkin, to an extent.
Well, he's pretty cool.
I mean, he did.
He's Peter Cushing. He's Peter Cushing.
He's only in it for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, but he's Peter Cushing.
Then again, Vader's only in it for like 10 or 15 minutes.
Darth Vader was
because the thing is, when you actually look at the episode 4 on its own, really, Tarkin's more of the major villain, and Vader's more of a henchman.
Wouldn't it have been cool though?
It's only when they move into 5 and 6 that he really takes into the role as the major antagonist.
He's in it for...
General Grievous is introduced in that...
20 minutes?
He's introduced in the same film.
Actually, no, he was introduced in the 2003 Clone Wars animated series, but very few people watched that. Series. And he wasn't even mentioned in episode 2. There apparently was on Geonosis. Apparently, you don't see him,
but then in episode 2, there's General Grievous will be destroyed. It's like, who the hell's that?
Yeah, you're supposed to know who he is.
Didn't really do
Dooku kind of comes out of nowhere. Well, no, because Dooku does kind of come out of nowhere.
Well, no, because it's kind of suggested that because it's like, someone from the Jedi files someone who had Jedi access must have deleted that thingy.
Maul doesn't do that much, but when
Darth
he does
Maul
do stuff, it is great.
Then he gets sliced.
Didn't he come back in the Clone Wars
with dead
like robot legs?
I'm pretty sure.
He's dead for sure. Basically, what happened was he got sliced in half. Ended up on the he ended up on like a
best episodes.
Some of the really good. He ended up in I think Lothal Minor in like a huge scrapyard. Built himself some artificial legs. Got new ones from
the weird kind of
spider thing going on. Got some new ones from the Dathomirian Night Sisters. Teamed up with his brother. They went around. I think they took control of Black Sun at one point, and then also
I remember reading about that in Shadows of the
Empire. Those are some of the best episodes.
And then they become the
Star Wars stuff.
The stuff with Darth Maul's resurrection is really well done. And then when they become the leader of the
Sidious just comes.
They become the leaders of the Mandalorian Death Watch. At which point Sidious catches on. They just casually strolls down to kick both their asses in the
mainly
most
because of
fashion.
the rule of 2 thing.
Yeah, because Maul considers himself a
Sith
Sith Lord, and he thinks Savage is Preston's apprentice, and Sidious is like, nah, fam. There's only one Sith Lord here, mate, and it's me.
Yeah, he doesn't want Darth Maul to go around because
he doesn't want him claiming breaking the rules. Yeah, people are gonna find out. Also, he's gonna start telling them about him, and he doesn't want that. But what was the other? Because he kidnaps Maul. Maul escapes, takes control of the new Mandalorians, and then escapes Mandalore just as the Clone Wars ends and Order 66 is executed. Then I think he went into hiding for a long time.
And he went back in Rebels.
Yeah, he comes back in Rebels.
He fought Obi-Wan and Obi-Wan killed him.
Yeah, he comes back in Rebels, attempts to sort of get... attempting to... I think he's attempting to get his hands on a Sith holocron that the main character has, so he can use it to find Obi-Wan, because he's still after revenge. Then he finally does find him on Tatooine, at which point the two essentially have a pretty long and genuinely quite interesting sort of confrontation before they finally fight. And it's over in 3 seconds. Maul's dead.
Welcome to Star Wars History with Michael.
Are we supposed to be talking about that film we just watched?
Yeah, it's a pretty good film.
I was going to lead the weirdly shortly used villains who are really publicised to lead into Phasma. Then you brought me to the history of Darth Maul, which I've got to admit I did help you.
Why don't we just not call this The Last Jedi Review and call it General Talking About Star Wars?
It is The Last Jedi Review. No,
I don't think
what's a history
this
of
happens
Star Wars?
In quite a few of our reviews. We have a tendency to get sidetracked.
That's fine,
so yeah, Phasma, underutilized, but she did actually do something this time.
Yeah,
and the fight scene between her and Finn is really good, actually.
The Chrome Dome. I just kept thinking of the Technodrome.
It must be. I gotta admit, it must have been pretty hard to do that in that armor suit as well. That looks really bulky.
In the cartoon, the Ninja Turtles keep calling Shredder Chrome Dome. It's like the nickname.
We need to stop. Don't talk about Ninja Turtles. At least my Darth Maul Star Wars history later was like Star Wars.
If
not
we do
fucking
one on
Ninja
Teenage
Turtles.
Ninja Turtles, we'll invite you.
What, the CG 2014 film?
They're not making another one, by the way.
Oh, thank God. But no, the Phasma's on the
last one was worse than you remember.
I haven't seen the second one.
The second one's worse than
Does it have the Technodrome in it?
Yes, it does.
Does it look like the cartoon?
No.
Oh, the cartoon
It looks,
one was...
Think about
Does it have a giant eye at the top?
Think about what the Transformers cartoon looked like. And think about what the movies look like.
I haven't seen either of those.
You've at least seen vague posters. You know that in the cartoon they're really blocky, simple and cel-shaded, and then the movies are really overcomplicated in CGI. Yeah. Same thing there.
Does it have an eye on the top?
Don't think so.
What kind of Technodrome doesn't have an eye on the top?
But I'm talking about the fucking Technodrome.
I think it was my fault.
That was your fault. Yeah, Benito Del Toro's character's a sleazy scumbag, which makes sense. And do you know what does kind of annoy me though? They really underutilized Canto Bite, which is kind of a shame because the casino.
Yes.
So I would have loved to see a bit more of a planet that is basically a more unethical space version of Las Vegas.
I want to see a spin-off. The thing about Star Wars, you've got so many ideas, you can make so many spin-offs.
Yeah, there's so much stuff you could do. I'd love to see that
forks.
If Ryan
laser cannons.
For context, Henry is showing us all a picture of the Technogram because that's clearly very relevant and interesting.
It is. It's got an eye on the top.
Can you not, please?
I thought they were forks.
Stop.
They're lasers.
Time to stop. No more. No,
giant clock.
In Ryan I do hope if Ryan Johnson's anthology trilogy is kind of set vaguely around the same time as that of the original trilogy, they do actually spend some longer time there because you could do a lot with that.
Don't hang yourself, Henry.
I'm not going to.
Like I say though, why you know Lando Calrissian? Like of all the parts of the film to introduce him, it would have been the best.
You know, what was I going to say?
I also.
Who are they?
I'm trying to look around to see.
Continue while you think.
That's it. I think Ryan Johnson is probably the best director to direct a Star Wars film.
Him or Kirshner?
Yeah, but I need to watch more of Ian Kirshner's stuff.
Irvin.
Did he do Return of the Jedi? Or was that
Irvin didn't do. Kirshner didn't do Return of the Jedi. It was another dude.
Return of the Jedi?
I can't remember his name. Do you want to look that up?
Yeah, sure.
I know him and Lucas did cooperate on the script, I think.
His name has a Q and a U in it, doesn't it?
George Lucas did all the scripts, didn't he?
Yeah, George Lucas co-wrote the scripts. I think, if I recall, it was like George Lucas wrote 4, but for 5 and 6 he worked on more of the overall kind of story structure, and with the help of the directors. It's a sort of
Richard Marquand.
Oh, that's a guy.
See, told you it had a Q and a U in it.
I thought so. I know it was kind of something kind of strange. But yeah, Johnson, I love. I also love the way that he's deliberately dragged this one away, Last Jedi away from The Force Awakens.
Oh yeah, and people are saying it's a completely different film. No, it's still kind of generally similar.
There's a touch of Empire Strikes Back. There is the case of the sort of.
I wouldn't say it's a complete departure. It kind of has that same kind of.
It's got a bit of a
kind of
yeah, but it's not as much as a.
No, it's not as much as a remake as 4, and it has that similar feel of Star Wars plot, but it isn't the same plot. I mean, obviously you've got some similar elements, like a ground assault on a planet that's particularly white with giant walkers. What was the other thing?
A big super weapon thing.
No, there isn't.
If The Last Jedi was most similar to any Star Wars film, it will be Force Awakens. I'd say.
What about Empire Strikes Back?
No,
it shares a couple of
mainly because
think about it though.
It's made in modern day.
Oh yeah, it's got that modern day feel. But in terms of plot, you've got main rebel hero characters on the run from a larger, more powerful, more technologically adept Imperial sort of authoritarian force. Though to be fair, the First Order are more of an insurgent military than a governmental structure. You've also got the ground assault by. Don't click your fingers. Giant walkers on a.
I've seen what effect
a very
it had
white
on this.
place. Particularly the The ATMs. Do you know what I did like actually on touch of that?
ATMs?
ATM 6s.
Oh.
All-terrain Mega Caliber 6. The Mega Caliber referring to the sort of artillery cannon built into the back of it.
So you don't get money from
this.
No.
Oh.
But
How did they call them ATMs then?
ATM 6. ATM 6. All-terrain Mega Caliber 6.
Yeah, but ATM.
Of course you know this.
Yeah, of course I do.
It's a cash machine,
but what I
it?
did look at that, if you look closely, you can also see they're using some old AT-ATs. Which kind of gives them some implications about how they are still... they're dangerous and powerful, but they're still relatively limited in resources if they're reusing old Imperial tech.
Like North Korea?
Kind of, but not quite as ridiculous. Possibly more like maybe China or something. Most of their stuff is new, but some of it... Most Chinese military stuff is new, but some's ex-Soviet.
Isn't all of North Korea's ex-Soviet?
Pretty much every famous sci-fi
not even
series,
Soviet.
Their enemies are pretty much Nazis.
Yeah, the first door. I also kind of like they toned down the whole space Nazi aspect a bit here.
They're more kind of...
There was less
rather than the salute.
There was less of the salute, less of the speech making. I mean, there was still clearly a highly effective, completely unethical military force, but in a different way. But yeah, I like the idea of them reusing Imperial tech. Same way that the Resistance are reusing like old Rebel stuff with the base on Creighton. But but the resemblances to Empire Strikes Back, you've got main heroes on the run from sort of Imperial Force, ground assault with Walker's White Place, and also trip to a place that's pretty rich and got a lot of casinos.
Yeah, sounds about right.
But at the same time, they're mostly subvert, and there's some subvert a lot of it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of anything else. There's a lot in the film. It's taken a lot to digest.
It's a lot to digest.
I'm kind of happy with doing it now because I kind of had time because it finished at 10:05,
and we're recording this about. Let's say 7. I noticed 6 to 7 hours later.
I'm just mentioning it, Henry. Because
why does it matter so much to you this past midnight?
Because he needs to sleep. He needs a sleepy boy.
Sleepy boy.
He sleep as I am too dense.
We haven't said anything about
Ray's parents.
Ray's parents actually. Guess what? They're nobody important.
I mean,
bunch of random bogans.
I kind of predicted / hoped.
You were sort of hoping, I think.
I think I said that round about end of Force Awakens just before Rogue One. I was kind of saying that.
I was kind of surprised that they would have revealed it and not kept it for the 9th one.
Interesting that
I knew they would reveal that in the film.
I was expecting them to reveal it.
I did ask someone about that because I guarantee they will. It's like, they do. Because
I was talking to someone who was like, yeah, it's kind of anticlimactic. Like, no, it's not. That's the thing. That's the
point.
The impact of the revelation is that your parents aren't anyone famous. They're just random traders from buttfuck nowhere. I'm kind of
curious how Snoke. Knew that. I'm guessing he's either.
I think about it though. Snoke was revealed that he was the one who'd established a link between the two of them, so he could lure Rey to the supremacy to then get the information about Luke's location. So there, incidentally, that's not going to be much use. What with Luke having been dead. Well, what with the Force? Basically dead. I love the way they composed that shot where he disappeared and the cloak drops to the rock before blowing away.
Obi-Wan.
Yeah, it's very Obi-Wan.
Yeah, which I've only just thought of when you said, when Kylo Ren does it on the salt plains.
Yeah, and he slices through.
That was definitely intentional.
Deliberate. I was expecting an Obi-Wan thing. To be fair, though, Luke's new Force power, which is essentially a sort of form of astral projection, was really cool.
It really drained him.
Yeah, you can tell, it drained him. It was clearly high. Think about it, though. He was probably sending that, across a good chunk of the galaxy to do it. And it clearly drained him to the point where he just straight up gave up and died.
Yeah, and I kind of liked how he came to the silence to die, and he did.
That's what he says.
Stuck to it.
He stuck to his promise. Though, admittedly, he was managed to convince him maybe the Jedi shouldn't end. Or rather, the Jedi should become something new entirely. Incidentally, also did that. The scene with Yoda was great because he could tell actually used an animatronic for Yoda.
Yeah.
He wasn't CGI'd and he looked way better.
I really like that.
He used lightning to set fire to a tree trunk.
And it turns out he was actually trolling Luke because Rey took the books. I love that.
Wait, when did they show that?
When they open up the drawer in the Millennium Falcon, you see all like those sacred Jedi texts.
Was I asleep for half of this? Because I don't remember this.
You probably weren't paying much attention.
I wasn't kind of paying attention to that.
I just sort of saw it and like, well, there's the same books. And then later it took me, I was like,
now I remember. I definitely remember.
I saw someone on Subreddit saying, love the way Yoda trolled Luke with that. Like, there is nothing in that library that Rey does not already have because she's taken them.
She's taken the book.
Yeah, it's Luke's sort of the interesting thing about, and obviously the whole sort of history of the Jedi thing with Acto in general.
The whole thing feels like a fever dream now. It's so weird.
I particularly
it was something I never expected something like a big end game thing. That stuff actually progressed and happened.
Yeah,
that was different from the norm and not safe at all.
I was expecting as much. I wanted them to revolutionise it, but at the same time, in my heart, I was expecting a second of a trilogy kind of installment.
This feels more happens, like episode 9.
Yeah, like stuff happens, characters go through conflict, but in the end, stuff remains relatively the same. Here, no fucking way, mate.
Snoke dies.
Snoke's dead. Like the guy who was set up as a major overarching villain is dead. He's been sliced in half in a way that was possibly too entertaining.
That I missed.
It's like, you do see Hux find his corpse though, which is honestly pretty funny.
You know what I liked? You don't read when the lightsaber's moving. You don't know if it's Rey. You think it's Rey.
I was seeing that. I was thinking that's Kylo Ren, isn't it?
No, I was thinking more Rey trying to stop Kylo Ren. But it was Kylo Ren.
What I really love for that scene is the way that Ren kills Snoke, the Praetorian Guard go at them, they work together to fight them off, and then when they actually told, they turn out they were doing it for completely different reasons. I think it's really interesting to see. I love the way Kylo Ren's becoming a proper villain now.
How many people want to rule the galaxy with someone else?
It's quite a common trope. The difference here though is,
I mean, no one wants to do it on their own.
It's a dangerous job.
Kylo Ren has General Hux.
Hux is too much of a coward to try and overthrow Ren.
Who wouldn't want General Hux as their best friend?
Hux
agreed to everything you said.
Yeah, Hux is a dogmatically loyal though fatally incompetent sort of.
Fatally.
I mean, he can still do stuff, but he's not.
He's not brilliant at it.
Well, I mean, I can't say Kylo Ren was better. Like stop attacking whilst I go and talk to this ghost, so that the rebels have time to escape.
You realise that Kylo Ren was caught up in the emotion of the fact that he literally met the guy who, from his perspective, did try to kill him.
Yeah.
That was I love the way they did that with the unreliable narrators. Where first Luke says, "Oh, I came up to him and then he attacked me." Then Ren's like, "Nah, he tried to kill me, mate." And it was like, "Okay, so I was considering killing him and he thought I was trying to kill him." So that was I love the way Luke, especially in the early parts, portrayed a little more darkly.
Yeah.
Like he straight up lies.
The friend
who
I have been having weird, sporadic conversation with, because he saw it at the midnight screening.
Ooh.
This time, he was really jealous that I saw Force Awakens midnight.
Ah, yeah.
Because he would have enjoyed it more then. I don't know what I would have thought of, because he kept feeding me all this stuff about it. How he hated it originally. How he was confused. How he's because it was midnight. He was tired. It was like probably 3 o'clock.
It'd be 3 o'clock in the morning by the time that finished. I can understand that not being the greatest time to watch.
They still play the adverts of the midnight screening, which I don't get at all.
That's really sort of capitalising.
Buy our stuff now at midnight.
I think they're obligated to. I think.
Yeah. Do you know what is interesting for me though? I keep thinking about this, and I don't know. I think it's probably because it's the most emotionally impactful thing. But every time I think about it, my head keeps going back to the confrontation with Luke's sort of projection and Kylo Ren on the salt flat.
Yeah.
I did like Luke's ridiculous way of harpooning a fish.
Yeah, that was pretty fancy.
He could have just gone down to the shore and gone like, "Ugh," but no, he had to do this massive pole vault thing from a cliff to another cliff.
Probably easier to do it from there.
I thought it was just to get to the other cliff.
Yeah, so did I. But then he harpoons a fish.
Yeah, I was.
Okay.
I thought.
I wonder where he got that fish from.
Yeah, I thought. Well, you see, he lifts out of the water and realizes it's a big harpoon. I love the thing with the caretakers too. Because one of the things is, think about it, the Jedi Order is supposed to be thousands of years old, and if that place had been abandoned,
they have some frog people looking after it.
No, it doesn't make sense though. Surely, if that The Porgs are more like a sort of equivalent of puffins or something, and thankfully were very carefully used, just for
unlike
minor
minions.
comedic effect. Yeah,
they're just kind of an ever-present thing.
They're kind of there, sort of minor. They're treated more like sort of local wildlife.
They're like watered down minions that aren't as annoying.
Yeah, they're not. They're kind of more like
toys,
Ewoks.
but it's like
I hope
they're actually part of the wildlife.
Of course they do. They're part of the alien ecosystem thing.
They kind of slowly invade the Millennium Falcon.
Honestly, the Porgs seem to be kind of treated kind of like a sort of the Actos equivalent of pigeons.
They're just kind of invade.
I don't care about tribbles.
They're ever present and yet not there.
Yeah, they're just sort of like annoying vermin. Clearly, that's why Chewbacca treats them with the where he's eating them on a kebab, and they all come and look at him.
That rotisserie chicken.
Oh yeah, jokes about it. You wouldn't understand the rotisserie chicken jokes, viewers, but
well, the best
rotisserie chicken.
Best comedic items: rotisserie chickens and weasels.
Rotisserie chickens, weasels, chainsaws, and any reference to Gilligan's Island.
Gilligan's Island.
Yeah, exactly. You don't even have to know what it is to find references to it funny. But we're talking about the Porgs. Yeah, but it makes sense. Like, that structure, those Jedi, there's obviously ancient structures have been there for tens of thousands of years. Someone would have had to have been maintaining them, otherwise they'd have long since crumbled into dust. So having the caretakers does make sense. It's a very neat explanation. Think about it. As the island's natives, if a bunch of people who could suddenly move objects with their mind and shit just turned up, you'd probably end up either worshipping them or helping them.
Yeah.
No, I like them. But
although he did say he shut himself off from the Force, I'm not entirely sure what that kind of would affect him.
Well, I think no. I think
would he just shut
it's
himself
so no one
off?
can follow him. He
went to. Can he still use the Force?
No, he shuts himself off originally, but then opens himself up to it again once he feels becomes necessary. He went to Acto, as he said, to die, and specifically because he wanted the Jedi Order to die with him. That's why he went to the original Jedi Temple with the original sacred text. It's also this is
kind of jump off a cliff if you wanted.
This is because I think he didn't want to. He came there with the intention of dying, but not just straight up committing suicide. He wasn't that. He wasn't because he was suicidal. Suicidal because he knew that he thought he needed to die for the Jedi to finally be
so what's
forgotten.
harpooning fish have to do?
So why did he leave a map?
Getting food.
So he wants to die.
Why did he leave a map then?
Yeah, I was thinking that.
I don't. What's the explanation with the map? Because I don't think he left it.
To be honest, when I first saw in the middle of it, when I was seeing it in the middle of episode 7, I was thinking the entire trilogy was going to be them looking for the map to find Luke, looking for the pieces of the map to find Luke Skywalker sort of thing.
But he's he came there to die, and he came there to ensure the Jedi Order died with him, and also to make sure no one follows him like Rey ends up doing. That's why he deliberately.
Shouldn't have made a map then.
He didn't make the map.
It was R2, I think.
I think it was either R2 or someone else. My guess, I think
Mr. Plot
R2.
Device.
I think R2 tracked him.
It was Mr. Plot Device.
I mean, R2 kind of has this connection with him.
Yeah, those two go back a long while. Because R2 actually, it's implied, saw the sort of Jedi students get massacred by Kylo Ren and the Knights of Ren, who were conspicuous by their absence.
The who?
Yeah, exactly. They're name dropped and I think seen in a brief vision of the flashback.
They're the students that Kylo Ren took.
Yeah, those are the students he took. He trained them as his dark side acolytes.
I'm guessing they're all dead.
They're either all dead or no, because Snoke name drops them in episode 7.
They were all asleep then.
He says you, the leader of the Knights of Ren.
Asleep.
My guess is they're off somewhere else doing something for him, and we're going to see them in 9. I kind of want to see them because what I see, they seem to be sort of dark side warriors that don't use lightsabers. And
they just use their fists.
No, they use staffs and other sort of more
blasters.
They're schlongs.
No, not blasters.
Oh.
They just use their slongs.
Blasters are, and as Obi-Wan would put it, blasters are too uncivilized for a Jedi.
What, they're full
I prefer the Lego Star Wars version.
Imagine if they got their schlongs
where
and they just started whipping it around like a chain.
And now Jude's talking about whipping your dick around. Don't ask me why.
4 schlongs.
No, but I mean, talking about the lightsabers though, that did do something I really appreciated. Is that they do this thing that they avoid the crime of the prequel trilogy and do hand in the original trilogy. In the original trilogy, you very rarely see lightsabers aside from its critical plot moments, like Vader versus Obi-Wan or Luke versus Vader, or the final battle with the Emperor. The only other times when Luke pulls it out on Jabba's sail barge. In the prequels, though, lightsabers get...
Han uses it to cut open the thingy. The Tauntaun.
Yeah, that's like a minor thing, though.
Yeah.
You know, so it's essentially like...
He has to survive.
Yeah, he just needs it. It's a helpful cutting implement. But in the prequels, people whip out lightsabers all the time. Like, within the first... I'm not even... I'm ignoring your raised eyebrows. In the first 5 minutes of The Phantom Menace, they're messing around with lightsabers. Oh god, that sounded very strange. No, but, like, the thing is, the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy as well, the only time lightsabers get pulled out is... Okay, I'm saying, I don't give a shit whether you find it funny, I'm saying it. The only time lightsabers are used is in either straight up, like, really important fights and confrontations.
You've got spunk in you, young Ray.
Oh yeah. Snoke's slightly unfortunate use of the word spunk, which I'll talk about later. But I mean, like, basically, and the Force Awakens did this, there's only one lightsaber fighting out of this right at the end. Basically, the conclusion is, you know that when they pull out lightsabers, shit's gonna get real. You know, it's not like it's some trivial fighting off some, like, incompetent robot thing. No, you know this is a proper sort of confrontation between two main characters kind of thing.
And I think The Force Awakens kind of goes in the middle of that. They use it at moments where it's not like big confrontation.
Don't mess with the microphone.
No, I'm just leaning towards it.
Stop pressing Boris against the microphone.
Boris is a pug pillar. I thought he was pressing on the microphone to mess with it and make your experience unpleasant, viewers, but he wasn't. You were saying?
They use it at moments that aren't like pivotal, but
but
they don't.
The only time they have a proper lightsaber fight is like that emotional final confrontation. It's the same here. The only proper lightsaber fights are Rey and Kylo Ren versus a Praetorian Guard.
Over an hour now.
Yeah, these normally are an hour to an hour 15.
I think our longest one was our Blade Runner one, which was
an hour
almost
and a half. 2. It was like an hour and 3/4.
I think it was like.
I'm counting with my. I swear to fucking God. I accidentally did a middle finger and apparently this is hilarious.
It is kind of funny.
Yeah, but it's not like rolling on the floor laughing hilarious. But no, yeah, they sort of, like, I mean, the only times they're used in sort of a proper fight is just after killing Snoke, the confrontation with Luke and Kylo Ren. Is that it?
What, in Force Awakens?
No, in Last Jedi.
They had Luke versus Kylo Ren.
Rounds 1 and 2. Though to be fair, with the first time, it's literally
the Praetorian Guards.
Yeah, the Praetorian Guard fight.
Kylo Ren got rid of his stupid helmet, didn't he?
Yeah, I was really glad for that. I think the whole getting rid of the helmet thing is more of a symbolic thing as well.
I kind of liked how...
Why did he smash it against the lift?
Because he was really angry.
He's a dark side. Of an angsty teen.
He's an angsty teenager, but actually like sympathetic and, you know, understandable. No, he's a dark side user. They do that when the dark side is fueled by anger. Yes,
he's swole.
We'll get onto the new memes generated by this movie later. Like, think about it. The dark side is fueled by anger and hatred. So dark side users have a tendency to get very, very angry sometimes. And obviously, I also love the way Snoke basically outright mocks him for wearing the helmet. Like that's what. Of course, I also like the thing that in the
thing off. I think were the words.
Yeah. It's like, and he actually mockingly calls him Vader at one point. He basically brings him back to a ship to basically gloat about, you, sir, have fucked up. And I'm going to tell you why you fucked up, and why your life is a fuck up. And the best thing is Snoke has this, like, malicious glee.
Are you quoting someone there?
No, I'm just made that up on my head.
Okay.
Like, Snoke
sounds like quoting someone.
It sounds like a quote, doesn't it? Snoke doesn't just, like, say it. He doesn't just tell me he's fucked up. He says it with this malicious glee. Like, he seems genuinely happy to tell him he's fucked up.
Says the meth dealer.
Possibly, I think, because he's trying to provoke a reaction out of him to get him more angry. I think the whole thing with, I think the smash thing is, though, in 7, Kylo Ren is still very much in the shadow of his father. The grandfather, rather, and he's trying to be Vader. And I think what's happened in 8 is the destruction of the helmet, and is essentially a sign of sort of symbolic of him moving out of his grandfather's shadow and establishing his own identity, both on a character level and also on a meta level. And it's basically saying, yeah, we're not going to do the Darth Vader masked thing again. We're going in a different direction with this film.
I feel sorry for those 2 officers who were about to go in the who were going to go in the lift when Kylo Ren was leaving.
Oh yeah,
like,
and he just like
find the walls dented and broken helmet all over the place.
Just like get the cleaning crew in here.
It's like the 2 stormtroopers in the first one.
Oh yeah,
What do you think of the humour in this one?
Was there any?
Because I keep hearing people say the humour was really forced.
It felt the first half did a bit. It was a bit. There was some funny bits, but it always felt a bit like this is a designated humour section. You may laugh now. It did feel. It didn't annoy me, but it didn't seem necessary.
The Finn getting out the thing for the first time. It seems like this big. Oh, he's been in a coma for 2 months. Let's just have this comedy scene.
It's not mentioned at all. I don't get why he was in that.
They
thing.
said 2 months.
Because he literally got a lightsaber blade to the spine.
Did he?
Yeah, and
you forgot about Force Awakens.
You have literally remembered nothing about Force Awakens, do you? Like after he grabs the lightsaber and fights Kylo Ren,
I only watched it once.
Loses the lightsaber. Like essentially gets a slash straight up his spine before Ren fights Rey. He's evacuated off.
So what's with all the water going?
Because he's in like I'm pretty sure it's not water.
It's fluid.
It's Bacta. I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
Medical fluid.
Well,
you know in 5 when Luke's in the tank, it's that stuff. Yeah. Obviously now it's more advanced, so they don't have to put him in a tube. They can just use it as a bodysuit.
I mean,
but it's sort of
he can't even like take it off, or it just feels like he's
probably because he's just woken from being in a what probably was an admittedly short coma. You're probably going to be very
2 months,
disoriented.
Wasn't it? No, I'm pretty sure they say 2 months.
Really?
No, this picks up right after 7.
Does it?
I swear they say 2 months.
Like at the most we can assume there's been maybe a day or 2 between after the destruction starts.
I swear someone says 2 months. I might be. They might be referring to something else you think of. Probably.
It's been way more. Think about it though. Like, was Rey standing there? Was Luke standing there holding that lightsaber for 2 months before he chucks it over his shoulder?
Yes.
Which I really love.
Yes.
Because I was like, what's he gonna say? What's he gonna say? And then he just like.
This is exactly what I would have done.
Yeah, that's what I would have done. People were expecting to say something dramatic. Instead, he's like, fuck that.
Yeah, I remember someone revealed his first word. Ryan Johnson revealed his first 2 words or something.
And it's go away.
Go away.
Like, he didn't even say
I didn't look at it in case it was like a spoiler.
He just like chucks over his shoulder, walks off, and then it's only like a minute later when she's banging on his door, he just tells him to basically to fuck off.
I like when she broke the door open.
That's
sequel trilogy.
Oh.
What are you looking at?
I also like the subtle reference, sort of.
Ah, right.
Yeah, it picks up straight after. Like they said that. Of course, the question is not. I reckon there's going to be a time skip of a few years between 8 and 9.
Not years.
I reckon a year or 2.
I think a few months.
No, I'm gonna guess it's gonna be sort of for Empire thing, because obviously what we're gonna see, I think what it's gonna be is the Resistance will have had time.
Begins immediately after.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought so. Like, my
I don't know
assumption.
where we get 2 months from.
No, I don't know where you got that from either. I think there was a line about 2 months, but it was in reference to something else.
Yeah,
but it was I
think it just kind of mixed in.
Yeah, probably. But I think 9 should pick up a few years after, like maybe 2, 3.
I think a few months.
Nah, a couple of years, because then at that point the Resistance will have...
3-4 years.
Yeah, I think at that point the Resistance or the Rebellion, whatever we're calling them, will have built up a military force capable of... I like to think they spend the next few years building up another military force so they can finally take on the First Order again. And hopefully, my hope is that they'll absorb the remnants of the New Republic to build a proper proper fleet to counteract them.
Although, what I kind of would like, if it does take place immediately after Episode 8, which I feel like J.J. Abrams might do.
Jar Jar Abrams.
I don't think so.
If it does, the whole thing would take place in like a week.
Yeah, I really hope
which I would find funny.
I really hope he sticks to Ryan Johnson's vision of it. Because I like the fact... Ryan Johnson very clearly...
He only signed up for one, didn't he?
Yeah. It was going to be Colin Trevorrow who's going to do next one. The guy who directed Jurassic World.
Did he do the second one?
Oh, they're making a second Jurassic World?
They did the trailer.
I don't think it's him doing the second one.
I didn't end up...
We saw the trailer for that in
I didn't end up watching the trailer before I knew it came out. I just didn't watch it.
But, yeah, it's JJ. The thing is, though, it really feels like a... it feels like it's like JJ's like, okay, and we're gonna set the franchise in this course, and I'm just like, nope, I'm taking it my way, bitches. I'm gonna kill the main overarching villain, and I'm gonna do a bait and switch, and Leia is gonna somehow survive the vacuum of space in a slightly cornerly shot scene, but didn't really bother me.
Does J.J. Abrams
should we talk about that one? Because people say
J.A. Bayona, whoever
Jeffrey Jacob Abrams.
Oh, cool.
Didn't know that.
You go, Sam. A lot of people don't like it.
People said, that one scene. Like I remember, like Aiden's like doing the Aiden thing.
Yeah, the thing he does with the hands. I'm Papa John. No,
but I'm the trash man.
I'm the trash man.
I throw the trash.
Garbage.
I throw the trash.
And I eat the garbage all over the ring, and then I start eating it. No, the Leia thing.
They have that one scene. It's like, I'll know.
You'll know when you see it.
I actually whispered to you. They said the scene. I whispered the scene.
See, personally, I don't think it was about to remind it. I found it excusable. It can be explained.
I didn't mind it.
Leia can use the Force. She can just pull stuff like that. And
also like the Superman fly.
Basically, because Carrie Fisher is very old, so you know
she's very dead.
Shut up, Henry. Don't you
mind me. Carrie Fisher was pretty old. Like, she was not quite 70, I don't think.
Yeah, but
so, you know, stunt work is not great for her.
I keep forgetting that she died.
But she didn't...
Don't remind me!
She doesn't need to go...
Well, obviously, it's a sort of representation of...
You can't even do more than...
Like, the reached out hand is sort of representative of her pulling herself back with the Force.
Superman.
To be fair, though, they did kill Admiral Akbar.
No.
Why?
It's a trap.
It's a trap! We need to get in and go to Star Destroyers at point blank range.
You think Leia's died? It's a trap.
I'm thinking of a different kind of trap. I tell you what, though, I actually
like those people in Paper Please.
Oh yeah,
You'll
know what we're talking about. I actually thought that was Leia's death. I was genuinely. I actually thought they were playing that straight as a death.
I think worked with it not being that, but I thought they could have done that scene a bit better. It's really
maybe
weird.
It wasn't. I didn't find it cheesy. At the same time, I totally get why people didn't like that. I completely understand why someone wouldn't like that, and that's fair enough. But for me,
it feels like a cop out, but it needed to happen.
It doesn't feel that much of a cop out. It's not like it's not like that came out of nowhere. We knew Leia could use the Force just by assumption. She's the son of daughter of Anakin Skywalker.
If she's been in space long enough, having been pretty much blown up and then thrown into space.
Well, actually, if I recall, the sort of torpedo hit rather than destroying the bridge itself, just blew apart the front sort of viewing gallery, and then everyone else was just sucked into the vacuum.
Yeah.
So obviously, even the Force can't protect from the vacuum of space that well, so it doesn't do too well to her. But no.
Would she have been all frozen and stuff?
She is. She's clearly shown to have ice crystals developing on her face.
I didn't see that.
You are horrifyingly unobservant, aren't you?
Yeah.
I think it's just glasses. He can't see well at all.
No, it's
I can see the exact same with and without my glasses.
I did.
Then why do you have them?
I don't know.
I did feel like I genuinely thought that was Leia's death, and that was a serious gut punch. I was like, what?
I kind of hope
they killed Leia.
Speaking of deaths, I kind of hoped when Finn burst, just kind of rammed into the
Finn sacrificing himself.
That would have been a good one.
Yeah, that would have been a great way to die, like sacrificing yourself. But at the same time, I'm kind of glad he didn't, because I do like Finn.
I kind of like the message of don't kill what you hate, save what you love.
Yeah, that's a pretty good
Which
line.
I think that's kind of embodies the rebellion.
Yeah, it's
general.
not fighting what you hate; it's protecting what you love. And I think that's more sort of the general. That's more emblematic of the light side of the Force in general. In the end of the day, the old Jedi had the complete wrong of the sticks. At the end of the day, with the light side, it's hate versus love. Love, man. But I thought that was a pretty well done scene. Plus, if they hadn't done that, we wouldn't have got Luke finding what it has to be said is a pretty impressive distraction.
Probably one of the best scenes I've seen. All year.
No, I don't.
I think the Jedi did get the wrong end of the stick with the whole prophecy of Anakin bringing balance to the Force, because technically he did. Because
they forgot the balance to
prophecy
because
thing.
there was
the prophecy thing's also bullshit.
Because there were 2 Sith and 2 Jedi.
They kind of forgot that the balance. And then, I think Luke actually references this. He says like the Jedi thought that they could. The Jedi were so sort of corrupt and short-sighted that they were destroyed by Darth Sidious at the very height of their power, and he was hiding in plain sight. So clearly, Luke's done his history lessons, but
and they can learn from them, unlike some people.
Yeah, they actually learn from history.
Yeah.
I tell you what, though, the reaction to this film has been pretty funny, because it is like Force Awakens comes out, Star Wars fans, no, don't do the same thing. We want you to go in new directions. Last Jedi comes out, no, don't go in this new direction. It's bad. Go back to doing the same thing.
I'll tell you something.
Here's the thing. The whole film feels like Episode 9. It feels like this big end game.
That's the thing.
So much kind of climactic stuff happens that I'm not sure how they're going to follow up, and I don't think they will.
Do you think that director guy's just trying to sabotage it so that J.J. Abrams can't make a good ending?
No, like the opening crawl to Episode 9, just like it was all a dream, and they're building a second Starkiller base.
No,
it's all a dream, and they just play the same film again.
I'll tell you someone who doesn't learn from their past mistakes. Princess Peach. It's like, she can't think to lock her castle.
No, that's a good point.
You're probably not the only one who thinks that.
No, a lot of people suggest that, but yeah, I think like I know the thing with Rey in Snoke's throne room did to me feel like this is sort of an Episode 6 final confrontation thing. So why is it happening halfway through the second episode in the trilogy? And then Snoke gets sliced in half, the Praetorian Guard all get murdered, and his nice curtains get set on fire.
Why did they set on fire those curtains? They could have sold them on eBay or something.
Well, I don't think it was intentional.
Nice
they were spinning electrified, those sort of superheated blades, whips, and literal lightsabers around.
Oh, whips.
Whip. I'm not surprised.
They could have sold the throne or Snoke's dressing gown.
Right, who would they sell it to?
His dressing gown.
Also, his dressing gown has been sliced in half like the rest of him.
Souvenir.
No one would fucking buy that. No one would want that. The question is, are they going to explain Snoke's origins in 9 or not? Because I don't think they are.
He's just some
He's just some guy. That's
the thing,
like.
And that's the same thing with how when you watch the Image of 27, we are told almost nothing about the Emperor. All we know, we don't even know his name. All we know is
Sheev.
Well, yeah, thank you, prequels, for giving him the name Sheev.
Why is he called Sheev?
It sounds like a woman's name.
Like
if
in
anything.
5 and 6, the Emperor is essentially all we know. We don't know his name. All we know is he's the leader of he's the shadowy leader of the Empire.
They call him Sidious.
No, they don't call him Sidious. He's just called the Emperor.
He laughs a lot.
He likes to laugh. All we know is he's the shadowy, decrepit leader of the Empire. Darth Vader's master and incredibly strong in the dark side. No backstory, no Palpatine, no Senate.
It looks like he spent too long in the bath.
To be fair though, the original Episode 5 Emperor looks, I'm going to say, like shit. Because of the way they edited it, it looked awful. But
I think...
It looks better in 6.
I really do think Episode 6 does look younger than the prequels, even though people say that... Well, even though he is actually...
He is,
because he kind of looks like...
Because Ian McDermott was like
younger.
20 years younger. He was only about 40. He was about 60 when they did it there. And it's true, he does look younger. But,
Michael, there was a 6-year difference between these. No, there wasn't. Never mind, I can't
6-year difference between Return of the Jedi...
I can't count,
and
dude.
The Phantom Menace.
Yes, I'm sure there was.
It's 1 o'clock. Can't count.
Is it?
No, it's not. Is it?
Almost.
It's nearly.
It's quarter to 1. Okay, cool. But a thing with Snoke again. All you need to know is that he's the leader of the First Order. He's the mysterious leader of the First Order. He's Kylo Ren's master, and he's very powerful on the dark side.
He's crispy.
Rice Krispies.
Rice Krispies.
Well, he does kind of look like one.
Raw sauce.
But he's like the crispy master.
I also like that little thing, a little lightning trick he does to. He really loves levitating people around. Yeah, just like little. Like when Kylo Ren gets into Bond, he just blasts a bit of lightning on the ground. And
it's like that guy who just got weird face and sprinkles stuff on the ground.
Oh yeah, the dude from that I mean, it was from January, wasn't it? That's an old one now. Yeah.
We only
That's just what he does with the Force lightning.
Yeah, but I mean, what else? I feel like I missed. I'm gonna go to the toilet, so if you guys want to hold the mic.
Don't actually hold the mic. Don't actually hold the mic.
I'm not gonna hold the
Talk
mic.
about something to do with the movie, not like Henry making it all about Nintendo games.
Be quiet, Henry. Anyway,
Can we talk about Nintendo games?
be gone, thought. Yeah.
Can we talk about Nintendo games?
So, Andriver's pretty swole, isn't he? That's all I can think of, really. It's always one. No, I really.
Why are we awake?
That'll be a good solid meme. Solid, like, dem abs. He's really wide, which I find weird. Why is he so wide? He shouldn't.
He's been in the gym.
He shouldn't be that wide. He's got a really thin face.
You think it's like he was told he was going to be shirtless and he spent like every night for the next 6 months in the gym?
At least put a robe on. I don't think that's what you really want, is it, Ray?
I think.
There's
Didn't
weird...
Chris Barry do that in Red Dwarf? Like he was told he was going to be shirtless, and so he spent like all the nights until the episode in the gym.
Yeah, pretty much, probably. It sounds like Chris Barry. It sounds like Rimmer. Or like Chris Barry.
Oh no, we're off topic.
Not really sci-fi, I guess.
Yeah, but so
I'm
pretty Star Fox, and that's a Nintendo game, and I'm not talk about those.
Yeah.
See, I was clicking to see the effect on that thing.
Quite loud. I like how Warwick Davis, who is in, I think he's in every Star Wars film pretty much, didn't actually use a lightsaber until Leprechaun 4 in space. Did you hear that fact about Warwick Davis?
No.
He didn't. He's in all the Star Wars films, but he didn't use a lightsaber until Leprechaun 4 in space. I always find that funny.
That's beautiful. Going to the toilet.
That's probably my favourite piece of trivia.
That's giving you a chance to realise how tired you are.
No, to think. I have a couple of things to say.
Oh,
one, I love the way they introduce a bit of moral neutrality.
Yes.
One, Luke emphasising the fact that the balance between the light and the dark is more important. Thing with it when the sort of Rey's thinking about the island. Actually, 3 things I want to say. When Rey's thinking about the island, the whole thing of like, there's violence and peace and light and dark and prey and predator, and and all that kind of thing.
What was... Go on.
What were we gonna say?
I was saying, what was the point of that underground cave scene? Like, it's just like basically.
I'm gonna get to that in a minute. I do like. What I was gonna say was I do like how hallucinatory, though it's sort of almost fever dream like those Force visions seem like. I feel
Trippy.
like, they're trippy.
Well, the
basically.
protections.
No, when like the sequence in the cave, and the mirror.
Yes. That was odd.
That was, and I think I certainly like the whole thing with like she's like trying to see who her parents are, and of course the fact that it reflects back her.
I found that kind of funny.
Yeah, it's actually kind of what I love. That is how
it's like Red Dwarf. It's just listed as his own dad, and it goes on for infinity.
Yeah, but it's not that title thing. Instead, it's like a sense of almost the way it's portrayed is almost like you think it's going to show them as there's 2 shadows and they merge into one, and essentially. Once you know the concept of Red films, really that your parents, it's not her parents that matter, it's her. There's also that possibly the whole thing of moving on, let go of the past, and which is obviously performed through the deaths of the masters and the ascension of the students.
And during
both
Kylo Ren.
Yeah, Kylo Ren kills his master and ascends to a great level. While in this case, Rey doesn't kill hers and forms Luke. But in both cases, the master dies, the student takes her place. But also the Neville of forget, you don't need to rely on your bloodline, on your ancestry to make you a good person, or rather a significant person. Kylo Ren believes that he can make destroying the helmet.
I wonder what that's meant to be metaphor for.
Like destroying the helmet is sort of metaphorical for the fact that he's accepted that he will never achieve.
Like symbolic how he wears a mask in Force Awakens, yet when he takes it off, there's nothing wrong with him.
Yeah, like that. He's doing it because he wants to be like Vader, and I think that brings across the point of there is a sense that that's the best way to put it. It's symbolic of by moving out of his grandfather's shadow, he's accepted that he'll never achieve anything significant unless he becomes his own person. Same with Rey. Once Rey realizes that her parents are irrelevant, again that point of your ancestry does not define you. It's your individual actions that do. Which is quite a sort of important lesson in general. But the other thing I wanted to comment on, aside from the trippy Force visions, very clever symbolism, and the emphasis of the... there's another thing with the moral neutrality, which was sort of emphasised with a visit to Canto Bight and Benicio del Toro's character. I think he's called DJ, I don't know.
DJ
Khaled. No, I think he's
What
called...
does he do? What does he do in the film, though?
Help them slice their way through the computer systems to get onto the supremacy before selling them out.
That's the meme. What does DJ Khaled actually do?
He talks to
He
talks
to
dubstep.
Big Shack.
He talks.
That's all he does.
He talks to dubstep.
The funny thing about me, he doesn't actually do anything.
I do love the way he
doesn't sing.
Wow,
he actually does not do anything.
$1 million worldwide. Come on, I'm trying to get information about.
It's got the second biggest UK opening of all time, behind Force Awakens.
Wait, why is there a black and white picture of one of the actors? That's not 1950.
It didn't actually have a listing for what character he plays.
Oh.
Then again, also doesn't have one for Laura Dern, who is Admiral Holdo. But I think it's back to the same point of he's saying most of the war profiteers and other sort of corrupt scumbags on Canto Bight many ways more reprehensible for the fact that they, instead of choosing sides, just tried to make money from the conflict.
Yeah,
possibly a commentary on the
person they stole the ship from.
Yeah,
created
the thing of they were saying the guy sells ships not just to the First Order but to the Resistance too. And of course, and that's the whole sort of thing, and it sort of it's a different, instead of the balanced kind of neutrality, it's instead an indication of the more sort of sleazy, morally reprehensible kind of neutrality, where all they care about is selfishly profiteering from the conflict, which is probably a comment on war profiteers in the real world.
What do you think of my pattern?
It's irrelevant. It's got nothing to do with what we're talking about.
I'm just checking the box office for it.
It's pretty big. And the other thing I wanted to say...
domestic total of 241 million.
Holy shit, that's just the US.
Wow. Yes.
And we're only a few days after opening.
Yeah, and we had 200 something.
Yeah.
220.
It won't... Well,
not opening, but...
Yeah.
We have 200 something now.
Okay, obviously, by the time when you're watching this video in the future...
Jurassic World is the highest non-Star Wars opening.
Yeah, because it's Jurassic Park.
It's the third. So.
Yeah. It makes sense. Nothing will get an opening like Star Wars, but I think what I want to know is, obviously, you watching this, I'm addressing you specifically, Alexander. I don't know if we have anyone watching called Alexander, but if we do, that'll really fuck with him. If you're listening to this, Alexander, I know where you live.
Also, delete that stuff in your folder. The police will not be happy with that.
Yeah. Yeah, but
I see you going that.
We see that. No, we're just fucking with you, Alex. Maybe you don't like to be called Alex, though.
You really might want to delete that stuff. That's not going to look good in a job interview either.
No, but then the thing is, viewers in the future are going to know whether it
does. No, now empty the recycling bin.
You can't just drag it into a recycle bin. Also, don't try putting the recycle bin in the recycle bin. It doesn't end well.
What happens if you do that?
You can't delete stuff because the recycle bin's gone. If you put recycle bin, then click empty recycle bin. I saw this great video of this guy with a recycle bin, and he just drags my computer into it, and then he presses empty recycle bin, and the computer disappears. No, back to what I was saying. Balance, neutrality. Yeah, do you reckon it'll crack 1 billion?
Oh yeah, easily.
I think it will, but obviously...
Force Awakens cracked 2.
Yeah, obviously someone watching this in the future will know whether it makes 1 billion. I reckon it can.
I think this is more inclined for rewatch than Force Awakens.
Yeah, this is far more rewatchable. There's loads more to deconstruct.
It's the longest Star Wars film, but it's probably the Star Wars film I feel the least, honestly.
I think, when you think about it, there's a lot of stuff with the symbolism and the meta-narrative that you could deconstruct there. So it plays it less... It doesn't play it straight like Force Awakens did. But what I also like... is, and this is just a minor comment, but God, the Why are you waving your arms in front of you?
I'm pretending to play music.
He's insane.
Don't.
I'm that tired. I'm just like...
The other thing I think it does well, and I recall saying at the start that I love the production design, but I do want to get into this. God, the production design is good. The design of the ship.
Star Wars,
Yeah, but I really picked up on it with this one because particularly the way they have like the stuff like the ships of like the support ships. Obviously, the Radus itself is kind of on the style of the Mon Calamari cruisers. I don't know what model it is, but the way the thing with having the various support ships, sort of at least like the medical frigate is clearly obviously a more advanced variation on the medical frigate from Episode 5, Nebulon B. It's got that same shape with like the center strut and all that.
They should build those things better because they could just like be blown apart the middle.
Here's the thing about...
Yeah, that's one of the main problems why they're not widely used.
Isn't the major difference between Force Awakens and Last Jedi? Last Jedi is way more ambitious.
Oh yeah,
because it's got a more ambitious director, and J.J. Abrams, he makes like good, like
J.J. Abrams
really
make a good film,
just good films.
But he doesn't take risks.
He doesn't make great films. He makes good films, and they're incredibly safe.
Yeah, you got
that's what stops them.
That's why I don't like him in the end. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure you're a very nice person.
I think Super 8 might be his best film because
it
feels. But it doesn't. It's very like appeal to the 80s, like 80s kids crowd.
Yeah.
Well, 90s kids crowd who watched 80s films.
Do you remember? 90s kids remember.
It's to them specifically, like Stranger Things is, only Stranger Things goes more into an actual like above that.
Yeah, it
uses it as a setting really well.
But yeah, no, I don't mean. As much as his films are good, they just play it too safe. Rian Johnson's taken a serious fucking risk, and while a lot of people haven't liked it, I think it's great. I think it's paid off.
Do you want to try? Okay, what? Okay, I think there's a problem I have with Episode 9. J.J. Abrams might take it safe again because
I don't
think
he
it really
continues on the course they've set up with this.
Well,
one.
They can't exactly rip off.
Last Jedi.
No,
Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi because
that's rip off Last Jedi right after.
He did it with Episode 4. He might do it again.
Yeah, but I mean, it's already happened, sort of thing. All the stuff that he could have done has already happened.
Good point, actually. They've already the overarching villain's dead. They've already had the throne room confrontation. The only thing they couldn't do is rebuild the super weapon, which I swear to God, if they do that, I will find you, J.J. Abrams, and I will kill you with my bare hands. I'll stick you. I will choke you on my fist. So that I stick it.
The only way I will let that
rip
pass
out your spleen
is if the new Star Killer is just shaped like Kylo Ren's face.
That's the ultimate ego trip.
No, his small abs.
I heard Kylo Ren has an 8-pack.
No, it's got.
If you haven't watched that Saturday Night Live skit, it's great.
It's got it's the one with Kylo Ren's face. It's got two laser things, so they're his eyes.
No, but the thing about the production design, the Radus looks great.
No,
it's
of his small abs.
Swole Kylo Ren. Ben Swallow. He's in the one that's like it's Snoke and it's I want to see the real Supreme Leader. I bet it's Kylo Ren. No, the real Supreme Leader. And then it's Ben Swallow.
Perfection.
I love that meme from X-Men First Class. No, the production design though, the Resistance bombers look great as we were talking about earlier. They're Space Lancasters. The TIE Silencer, which is Kylo Ren's personal ship. It's beautiful. It's this perfect, sleek combination of the top. No, it is. It's this beautifully designed, ultra sleek combination of the TIE, Vader's TIE Advance and the TIE Interceptor with the First Order design style, and it just looks so good. The Mandator 4 Dreadnought does look a bit like a giant pizza slice, but when it's actually used in the movie, it's pretty funny.
The Star Destroyers all look a bit like a giant
pizza
but
like
slice.
it's really wide. It's really wide.
A really wide pizza slice.
But otherwise,
like thick.
The finalizer Star Destroyers are the
pizza slice.
We also now know that the First Order Star Destroyer fleet is larger than one, because that's all we see in Force Awakens. You only see one resurgent class.
Oh yeah, and it goes really close to the planet. Well, no, to the sun, because you can see its massive shadows.
And then they do the. But now obviously they've clearly got dozens of them, along with the Mandated Dreadnought and also the Supremacy, which gets sliced in half. Tell you what though, originally didn't like the flying wing design of that, but seeing it in the film, it feels way more believable. It looks a lot better. Also, it's seriously fucking huge. It's 60 kilometers wide, that thing, which is bigger than I think London. Like, it's wider than London.
How do you know what size it is before seeing the film?
Because I read about it in the sort of press release. They said like, "Hey, look, here's a new thing we've got in the film." Same with the Gorilla 8080s, as that was what they were referred to, the ATM6s, which also look very cool. So they're essentially souped up 8080s. I think I recall reading some of the command cabin, like in the head, is actually on 2 stories, but I don't know if that's true or not. Like it's got 2 floors, like one for the drivers and one for the gunners, but I have a feeling that might not be the case. Big enough to be.
How much else have we got to say? Because
I've praised the production design. Actually, we have actually talked about the cast.
Oh,
you can go to bed if you want.
Henry, go to sleep if you feel
nowhere
like it.
to
We won't
go.
bother you. Yeah, there is.
Where am
Go
I
in the bed
supposed
in there.
The room opposite that. Well, say goodbye to the viewers, Henry.
You can sleep in the bed if you want.
Oh, wow.
That's fine. We'll sleep in here or something.
Yeah, I'll take the couch.
I'll take the floor. I don't mind. I'm the host. I have to suffer.
Well,
Like Ben Swallow.
Oh yeah, that one. So what happens when you have people sleeping over at your house after you do these things? Yeah, we haven't actually talked about the cast. And boys, there are a lot to talk about because these guys are good.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Adam Driver's great.
I love Adam Driver.
He gives his great physical performance.
Yeah, he's a great, like, you can watch. Adam Driver does a thing that Hayden Christensen was really good at as well, with his facial expressions. Well, someone's come back in.
Forgot something.
Oh, of course you forgot something.
We're in trouble with our recording, Henry.
We're talking about Kylo Ren if you couldn't guess.
Sorry, I mean Ben Swallow. Swole. Yeah, that I love. I think because like Hayden Christensen, you see, could get a great facial expression. Like you get those really genuinely, like he like when that shot of him when he's sort of like looking when he's got that sort of intense stare while Obi-Wan's behind him, like you have done that yourself just before the Mustafar duel. He looks great. Then he says something and he ruins it. Difference is Adam Driver can get both the facial expressions and actually send the dialogue well.
I don't know why he's got their fingerprints on the side of the window.
Don't ask me. Particularly with the like when I think it's when he's talking. I think it's when Snoke's ordering him to kill Rey, and he just watches his face, and it's completely calm, but his eye sort of twitches.
Yeah.
And it's like that little sign that he's actually like seriously conflicted, just trying to hide it.
Yeah.
Adam Driver's great. Daisy Ridley is better in this one, I think.
Oh yeah.
Like she was all right in Force Awakens, but I think she's definitely better.
She's better. I still don't think she gives. She's still all right.
She's better. She's gone from all right to good, I think. But considering all the other cast members are either great or
she kind of pales
brilliant.
in comparison. And she
plays really well off Mark Hamill.
Oh yeah.
And there is a good chemistry between her and Adam Driver. Hence the scenes with her and Kylo Ren go very well.
No.
And I want to say like with that is the fact that unlike every other sort of dark side user attempts light side user, with Palpatine and Anakin and Vader and Luke, it was always a sort of I'm your superior thing.
Yeah.
But here, he actually genuinely wants them to work together as equals. Which and of course then when he gets turned away, he seems actually genuinely surprised and hurt, which I like. But Mark Hamill, I was expecting Mark Hamill to be brilliant because he's Mark Hamill. But
great.
My God, he really blew it out of the water. He was even better than I thought he'd be.
Yeah, he's not actually that dialogue heavy. He's got a lot of scenes that are just him on his own, just reflecting really.
But when his dialogue when he does do it is great. And I really love his dialogue. He's obviously the whole thing's beautifully well written as well. You know, he can do that sort of he can do a lot with the physical acting. Obviously he's had the experience with it. And he's also a good voice actor. Hence why and he genuinely
all people ask him to do at conventions is sign Star Wars posters and do the Joker laugh.
To be fair though, like his Joker laugh does sound right.
Yeah.
He plays the Joker in the
and I don't think he minds that.
No, because that's the thing. Luke.
He's like Leonard Nimoy.
Leonard Nimoy Leonard Nimoy, I think, never quite came to terms with the fact that he was never going to be able to detach himself from Spock.
I mean, he just kind of embraced it.
Yeah, that was the thing with
he's never going to change that, so he just went to voice acting.
Harrison Ford was able to kind of dodge that bullet because he wasn't just famous for being Han Solo, he was famous for being Indiana Jones.
If he was
just
Han Solo, then I don't
I think he'd be way more... He'd be just as gruff and cynical. Like, his jaded cynicism and cynical jadedness is great. More. Yeah, because he was able to dodge that bullet. But I think it was like Mark Hamill, when he was on the Graham Norton show, which if you live outside the UK, you'll have no idea what we're talking about. He was saying, like, when they were... when he was in a West End thing in the West End shortly after the trilogy ended, it's his thing like originally came
trilogy.
It's like originally came to fame in a series of space opera films, also appeared in shows, and after it, Carrie Fisher just went to him, Mark, just accept it. You are Luke Skywalker, and you can never change that. That's the thing. Him and Carrie Fisher, they didn't just come to terms with the fact that they would always be known as Luke Skywalker. They embraced it. And you can tell he loves it. He loves every minute of it.
Oh, yeah. I really like that when people just embrace, like, trying to think. Most of the doctors.
Yeah, most of the actors who've played the Doctor have fully fallen into it.
Eccleston, he's kind of warming to it. But he's actually said he regrets not going.
He wanted to avoid being typecast because he wanted to keep his career moving. But in retrospect, I think now he said he.
If there's no anniversary special, I would say he would come back.
Well, he didn't. He turned down the opportunity to be in the 50th.
That was actually creative differences with the director.
Who directed that?
Nick Horan.
Who?
Nick Horan. The Dog Complex.
Oh yeah, that's a very well directed episode actually. The Doctor is quite well directed.
We're going off topic.
No, we're going off topic actually. We managed to stay very much on topic recently. Yeah, for us.
Apart from the Darth Maul digression.
That was at least Star Wars, not like Henry banging on about Star Trek or whatever. But no,
Star Trek DVDs are still out there. Ironic.
No, I'm trying to knock it over from the foot. Sorry, it's ironic. There we go.
You knocked over the best one. They made it up.
I knocked, just for context, I knocked over Wrath of Khan. Wrath. And then knocked over Into Darkness. No.
Digressing.
Mark Hamill, though, what I do love is he genuinely feels, like same with Harrison Ford in Fallen Angel, he genuinely feels like an older, far more cynical Luke. And he generally... Plus, I love his sort of, when he goes sort of, like when he's doing the proper Jedi Master training thing where he actually like cut his hair and shaved, but he's also got the sort of costume that's like a combination of his robes he has when he's on the island and also his Return of the Jedi outfit.
And he's made to look like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, he's taken some very strong Obi-Wan Kenobi hints. What about all the cast?
Then you see the cloak fall away. I think it was meant to be heavily like kind of following in his footsteps.
Heavily. But what I love with that shot is I said earlier in the video, the cloak drops and then it stays there for a second and the wind picks it up and blows it away. Yeah. And I really love that sort of very metaphorical, very wonderfully metaphorical thing. And it's very good with the visual metaphors, this film actually. I've said quite a few times.
It's probably one of the best directed films of the year. Nothing on Baby Driver though.
No. Baby Driver. Well,
I'm going to say that now.
They're both brilliantly directed, but in their own ways. Because Baby Driver does something very different to this. And honestly, I do have my qualms with it, as it were.
Baby Driver is the most unique film of the year.
Yeah, it's got
by far.
The problem is, though, it kind of... There are a few times where I feel it kind of fails to go beyond its USP. Which is a bit of an unfortunate thing, but... Yeah. But we're not talking about Edgar Wright, as much as we'd love to.
Although he did have a cameo in the film, somewhere.
Oh, Baby Driver.
No, in Force Awakens, in Last Jedi.
No, Edgar Wright, not as far. Oh yeah, no, he didn't he?
Yeah, he was one of the Resistance fighters.
Oh, cool.
I'm not sure.
Gareth Edwards is in it.
He was the salt guy.
Like, no, like if you may have seen like the bit where the guy in the trench licks the stuff of the salt. The other dude next to him, Gareth Edwards, directed Rogue One. So I remember watching and I saw him. And I was like, oh, he looks really familiar. Is that Ryan Johnson? Is this a director cameo? And it was a director cameo, just the different director.
Different director.
To be fair though, I love a good cameo. I like Daniel Craig and
Edgar Wright and his brother got.
Yeah,
it's like him and Ryan Johnson are really good friends. So
cool. I'm fine with great directors being mates, but the rest of the cast.
Edgar Wright should direct one of those like.
Oh, they have Edgar Wright doing an anthology. That would be good. It would have to.
That would be.
It would have to be
cool.
pure comedy though.
You could get away. You could get away with like a Baby Driver type thing with comedic
True, but
moments.
there are quite a few moments in Baby Driver it doesn't quite land. You say. And I feel Baby Driver might have been better if played straight for the played just as a straight comedy. But we're digressing. As we were saying about the cast, we've talked about Hamill, we've talked about Daisy Ridley, talked about Carrie Fisher.
Oh yes.
May she rest in peace. God, she was good.
Oh,
I really wish they'd done more with her in Force Awakens. Seeing her here,
that one scene she had with Luke was probably one of the best in the film.
Oh yeah, scene with Luke. And I also like the little bits between her and 3PO. And just everyone and 3PO. Like, he's only little touches, but it's just like, wipe that nervous expression off your face. And, I don't know, I love Carrie Fisher in this.
Last one.
Okay, last one.
Yeah.
How long have we been recording?
1 hour 44.
Well, this
we
might
could
end up
reach
being...
the length of the film.
This is going to be longer than our Blade Runner one, I think. Henry's back again.
I cannot sleep in there, it's boiling.
We'll open the window.
Oh no, you're not going in. You're not going to bother us, like constantly harass us again.
I'm staying here.
God, you do look like that terrible Halloween costume. It's too small.
That face is so skin tight that I think I've been violated. This guy's walking around a fucking Pikachu onesie that's way too close to the skin. But anyway, no, Carrie Fisher is
got
great.
no leg.
I do have a leg.
We need to
barely
pay attention. Don't digress. Don't let ourselves be distracted.
That was not a good snapping noise.
Speaking of skin tight and showing skin, swallow.
Stop with the swole. No,
the swole will never stop.
Stop. Carrie Fisher she's very good because well, what do you expect, Carrie Fisher? But I particularly love the way she plays the sort of aged but wise mentor. Because there's a lot of I really love the way they've fully carried on. I think the theme of passing on the torch kind of thing. Now, out of the original, sort of out of the classics, as it were, only Leia's still alive at this point.
But she's not.
Yes, she is.
Carrie Fisher.
Oh, shut up.
Fuck you, Henry.
Sure, that's a low blow.
The point I was making was obviously in universe.
Yeah.
I reckon out of the three of them, Ford, Fisher, and Hamill's gonna die last.
Why?
Because he's the youngest.
Yeah, but it could die in a horrific car accident.
He does sound
if
like...
anyone is going to die in a vehicle accident, it will be Harrison Ford. He's going to crash his plane into another plane.
He can't die.
No, true. He miraculously survives all of them.
He's tried. It's like he got a call from his agent. Yeah, we've got news about the Force Awakens. That's why he crashed the plane.
Yeah.
He's just trying to get out of
Daisy
it.
Ridley. Yeah. Carrie Fisher is okay. So we've talked about Fisher.
Would not surprise me, to be fair.
Oscar Isaacs.
Oh
Jason,
yeah.
Oscar Isaacs and John Boyega, Finn and Poe, also both really good. I like them a lot. They were. I like Finn. I like Finn a lot. I'm more into him. And Poe is also. I also love the way Poe is shown how he does have some pretty deep character flaws, and he's a great impulsive pilot and soldier, but he's not a great leader.
I noticed.
Right. Okay. Considering we got to that point, also our Blade Runner thing was 150. We will easily beat that.
1 hour 50.
Well, 1 hour 47. That was 1 hour 50.
When does this video end? How many points have you covered that are necessary?
We still got some. Just the last few things to say about the cast, I think. Obviously, the effects are great. Goes without saying. Don't need to elaborate on that. Otherwise, cast members. We talked about Benicio del Toro earlier. I thought he was really good. Gwendolyn Christie as Phasma.
He's added me to another Instagram chat. Why?
Who?
That was pretty good.
Well, we can't really say stuff because we're on the internet. No, we're not. Yeah, can we not? Can we do this later, people? We are trying to record here.
Sorry, I was just checking that.
We're not very professional.
Yeah, but I tried to keep some out of fresh out, and you playing on a 3D fucking ass is not helping.
Well, I'm not interrupting. Well.
No, okay, as long as you're quiet. No.
As long as you.
Other members of the cast, we can just roll through them quickly. Gwendolyn Christie, the little screen time she gets, she is very good.
Yeah.
I do like her. She's pretty good. And I kind of hope they'll bring Phasma back again, just so it turns into this like she'll also become like the Kenny of Star Wars. And it's just this running joke.
Right.
To be fair though, the material you straight up see her armor deflecting a direct hit from a blaster. So it's clear. If I recall, it's made from the same stuff as the hull of Emperor Palpatine's personal yacht was. AKA some really tough shit.
Why can't they make all the Stormtroopers armor like that?
Because it's horrifyingly expensive and incredibly rare. It's chromium.
I'm gonna go off these now. I have a friend who does have a YouTube channel called Docked Forever. He's actually really good as a personality. Yeah. And makes kind of entertaining videos. I watched him before I got to know him. And he's been going on because he went to the midnight showing. And he has been kind of feeding me little nuggets. Not nugget porn, but nuggets of information.
Yeah.
Of over time. And now that I've seen it, he's just been flooding me with
Open the floodgates.
Right. His problems, because this is just fun to go off. Snoke's death was a bit shit.
I thought it was pretty well done.
Yeah.
Dramatically, certainly was very well executed. On subject of Snoke, also Andy Serkis is great, because Andy Serkis, when will he get an Oscar? Why, Hollywood, why?
The casino subplot went nowhere and was pointless.
It wasn't pointless, but I agree they didn't expand on it as much as they could have, and I think there may have been some cutscenes there.
Yeah, they probably needed to cut it down for time.
Yeah.
You know the Jumanji remakes are 2 hours and a half.
Oh,
that was
sequel.
That's
why have they made it a video
that
game?
surprised me
because it's updating it for the modern day, and
apparently it's not. Yeah, but it's probably pretty good.
Jumanji is weird the first time.
Yeah, now it's getting weirder, mate.
It's getting weirder.
I love how everyone was complaining about Karen Gillan's costume before they knew it was set in a video game. Once you do, you realise it's a pretty obvious parody of like Lara Croft and stuff.
Yeah,
I think it was quite
cringe.
Cool,
like it's the floaty Jesus bit.
Yeah, well, I can understand. I can understand people not liking that.
Are we talking about the wrong film now?
No, we're talking about The Last Jedi.
Okay.
And this guy's.
We're not talking about Man of Steel, although that still applies.
Don't talk about Man of Steel.
Finn and Rose did not develop at all.
Who?
No, you know what? I think they kind of did. I like those. I like Rose. I liked Finn. They were pretty.
I would say Rose developed. I think she learned something, but not really developed as a character.
She learned to not.
I think we'll see more of that in 9, possibly.
She learned to.
Honestly, I was kind of dissatisfied with how much we saw.
I kind of thought she died.
Nah, she didn't die.
I was confused whether she died or was unconscious.
Well, I doubt they'd be tucking the corpse up in bed. Let's be honest. They'd have to be practical and flush it out the airlock, alien style. So. What else?
His two favourite scenes: Snoke roasts Kylo Ren's entire existence.
Oh, Snoke is an absolute savage.
Followed by Kylo's rage when he saw him smash his mask.
I love how that can basically be summarised as Snoke is just wrecked fam, and Kylo Ren just basically goes and cries. Does the Sith, not Sith, does the dark side equivalent of crying about it.
Yeah,
which in this case,
I love how he just describes Snoke roasts Kylo
But he does. He basically calls him a pathetic Vader wannabe in as many words.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's great for that. I really like Snoke. He also seems less.
Busted for a piss halfway through.
I also like the fact that he's less overtly dramatic in this. You know what I mean?
Yes. You know when Holdo kind of tries to crash the ship, it should have been Leia. And I think that working. I honestly think that might have worked better in certain ways.
You see, no, because the thing is, the reason Holdo does it because it's a sort of act of redemption for the questionable way she acted earlier. Because while she
which did end up getting people killed, because if she didn't do
that, but
then Poe and the others wouldn't have tried to do that.
No, because if she hadn't done that, they were still planning on attempting that plan anyway. Think about it. If she hadn't had the evacuation plan, the Randus would have run out of fuel. The whole ship would be destroyed. All the crew would be lost. The thing is, her character is established in some of the other stuff. She's a childhood friend of Leia's. She's a very much. She's obviously rooting for the. She's on the. She is against the First Order, and she does want to have Leia. At the same time, she's also quite a ruthless pragmatist, and she is very much of a belief in acceptable losses. And I think the thing is, whilst her plan did make sense, the fact that she was so withholding about it and didn't cooperate well with the other officers is sort of showing that. And I think her sacrifice is like an act of redemption for her behaviour earlier.
If she hadn't have behaved like that, then Poe wouldn't have told her, and then she would have been able to say there's no need, and then some of the ships wouldn't have been destroyed.
Yeah, exactly. And again, that's atoning for a mistake.
Yeah.
So I do get that it could have worked with Leia, but I prefer they did it with Holdo.
Oh god, I've gone all the way back to a conversation about 7, which you saw months ago, in September.
Oh, this
Do
is
you remember
this
the
is nearly
21st
2
night
hours.
of September? Thank you for reminding us. What else did he have to say?
I'm trying to go. He said there were like 2 scenes he hated.
I'm going to assume that's Leia getting back to the ship and...
Snoke getting killed.
Nah, Snoke getting killed was pretty well done, particularly for the fight afterwards.
I think he might have thought that, because I remember when that was happening, I kind of turned to you and said, I know people hate this, but I really like it.
I like it. I thought Snoke's death was really well done.
It was actually surprising, and it's surprising plot development.
Yeah, that's like, Snoke is set up as a big villain, and it's like, and I see lots of things like, I was thinking like, oh no, it's going to stab him, and it's going to be a wound, but he's not going to die, and then they're going to use that as a chance to escape while he recovers. And then it was like, wait, what? Oh my, he's fucking, no, he's going to have like a clone body, or going to be able to reincarnate thanks to the dark side. He's actually fucking dead. They killed him halfway through the second movie in the trilogy. Holy shit.
I know.
I was genuinely surprised. I did not see that coming, and I'm glad they did it. Take risks, do new things. Get pussy.
I think we should wrap it up, because this is going to get too long.
It is coming to the time to wrap this up. So, final thoughts.
I want to say,
if we're going to give scores out of 10, then let's give them.
How many films has Rian Johnson done? I think he's done 3, probably 4.
Including this?
Yes.
The 3 I can think of are Brick, Looper, and this.
I've seen all 3.
I've only seen Looper and this. I like them both.
Brick and Looper, they're both good films. I mean, Looper has a lot of problems with the time travel.
I love
they
Looper,
can't avoid.
even though I appreciate that obviously the time travel stuff means you're gonna have some sort of plot holes.
There's no way you can't.
I look past that though; it doesn't really bother me. He has done something else, hasn't he?
I think he has. You keep talking.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure he's done something else. In other news, though, overall, I genuinely enjoyed this film. I really loved it. It might be my favourite Star Wars film, I don't know for sure. But I'm really satisfied with the risks it took, new directions it went in, the way it carefully set up and then subverted the tropes of the original trilogy. With stuff like, the big overarching villain is killed and actually usurped by their apprentice, who is now, Kylo Ren is now the Supreme Leader. And I'd really love to see what he becomes and does with the First Order.
Oh yeah, I forgot he did a couple of episodes of Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think films.
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
But
I'd
say better than Brick and Looper, because Brick was like it's weird how high school seems really big and huge.
Yeah.
But it's really just this kind of inconsequential thing, and it kind of parodies it by it's actually this really dangerous and serious with guns and drugs. And people treat it really deadpan and seriously, and it's like a joke.
It's a whole
really
sort of
funny.
riff on high school. And Looper is a fun action time travel film, even though when you think about it too hard, like your mind gets fucked. And The Last Jedi, though, as I was saying, great cast,
Last Jedi,
great cinematography,
it's like
great film. I loved it.
it's like Anthony
I'm very
Fantano, who
satisfied.
does like the needle drop, like music stuff.
Oh, yeah.
He has this kind of thing where he does like he does like 5, 6 and stuff, but he has this kind of light 6, decent 6, strong 6. So he does stuff like such as strong 5 to light 6 and stuff like that. Or
That's weirdly specific.
I know, it's actually quite a good way of going about it.
For me, this might.
I wouldn't really use it, but it's a good way to kind of
Okay, so
categorize it above other stuff that you give the same score.
Yeah. Any final thoughts? Do you want to go for a score out of 10?
Score at 10.
I go 8.
I want to say, are we going? We're not doing decimals, are we?
Not go to decimals.
For me, I can't decide whether 8 and maybe a 9, maybe, because I really did love this, and I don't know. It may be a 9. It may not be. I'm gonna say a 9.
Strong 8 then.
Strong 8, shall we say? Yeah, 8 bordering on 9.
Yeah.
Loved it. Exceeded my
It
didn't just meet my expectations. It exceeded and subverted them, and I couldn't ask for anything better.
I say light 8. I really really liked it though.
Yeah.
It kind of brought. It was kind of everything I hoped and expected.
It's everything I'd hoped and expected, and then some. Because it took my hopes and expectations and flipped them around and said, "Haha, you've been bamboozled." Snoke's identity doesn't matter. Race parent to no one. Yeah. There goes 2 years of fan theories. Oh, see the amount of salt from all the people who were like, my fan theory is actually hilariously satisfying.
It's salt.
What?
Salt.
Salt.
It's salt. Alright, there's a great meme of that where it's the sort of ground is Star Wars fans. It's salt.
It's like the floor is lava.
Should we end the video?
I think that's it. No, alright, I'm gonna let this go for a couple seconds more so we can hit a. Actually,
it's like
okay. So this ending, I'm gonna see if we can hit a clean 2 hours. So goodbye, everyone.
Memes.